next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Here we go. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports on a Wednesday, day of the doc. He'll be joining us today. Big show. Dan Campbell spoke this morning. We have news on Jahmyr Gibbs we're going to get to and spend some time on. Certainly, I'm your host, Jeff Iafrate. That's my co-host over there. My guy, Booner. We got KG. We got Caleb Zarnick. And it's just the feeling of football being back.
We're back, baby.
I love it. We got training camp. Dan Campbell speaking. When Dan Campbell speaks here in like late July, football. We got football back, and he had a lot of stuff he talked about today, and it's probably going to be most of the show. We'll get to talk to the doc, like we said, so I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, football started, and it's the greatest thing. When Dan Campbell speaks for the first time every single year, you're going to get a lot of, obviously, breaking news, big news, injury updates. The Kirby stuff gets addressed. The TA stuff gets addressed. Obviously, you guys see on the screen the Jahmyr Gibbs stuff. Like we're seeing a lot now kind of go into this thing. It was the first time we actually get to hear from the head coach since the offseason, basically since the league meetings.
Yep.
I think it was the last time we heard from Dan Campbell. So there was a lot of news today. A lot of things are coming out. And today was officially day one of practice. Like I saw reports of like players who stood out. That should fire people up that football is officially back and we're ready to go.
And the breaking news we're going to be discussing this morning is Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'll throw in there Falcons running back Bijan Robinson. Both are not practicing today. Both running backs have had conversations during the offseason about a potential long-term contract. That was per Adam Schefter, and Dan Campbell was asked about some of those extension talks with Jahmyr, Sam, Brian, but really the Jahmyr one's the big one of the offseason. Erica Woodward actually asked that question. We'll play that clip, but just reaction to that. For me, we got to give credit to the report originally by John Jansen, because the holding out feeling that, he was told that, this could be a possibility. It was reported probably weeks ago, and we had the discussion, could he hold out? What's going to happen with Jahmyr Gibbs? We had the extension talk, which you guys know how that went. And we had plenty of conversations about it, but it is real. Today's the first practice, and Jahmyr Gibbs is not there. The question I asked, though, before, and I'm very curious, and I don't have the answers to this, and I'm not, Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not his agent. I don't know what he's being advised to do. I don't know what's going on with the extension talks. But this is just tinfoil hat, as we do on Crunch Time. Tinfoil hat time, where I'm going to throw on the tinfoil hat, throw out a theory. I am curious how far, love that, KG. Yeah. I am curious how far they are off on the number. Because, in my opinion, chat, you tell me if I'm off. If I'm Jahmyr Gibbs and I'm his agent, and we're talking, hey, the Lions, this is the number, I'm currently talking about the extension, blah, 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 we're dealing with that. If they weren't that far off and his agent felt like an extension was coming very, very soon, you'd think he'd be there. But he's not. So it just leads me to think, how far are they actually off on maybe the number? Do I think it'll still get done? Yes, I do. I'm just curious of maybe where they are right now. That's where my mind goes when I saw the report. And I would say the same for Bijan in Atlanta. Like, if they're both holding, you'd think Bijan with Atlanta, you think Atlanta would just be like, blank check, we need you, sign it. I am curious with Jahmyr, though, like, where are they at with that conversation? Just the specific number. Is it resetting the market? What's the number? What does Jahmyr Gibbs want? His agent want? What do the Lions want? Et cetera.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Also, too, by the way, like what you said, the report came out a week ago. There are people who probably need to apologize to John Jansen, because that got put out and people went at him and we're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any sources. There was a lot of people in the media that went at him. It's actually happening. Right? Like, people are like, Gibbs would never do that. Like, no, when money's on the line and this much money's on the line, you're going to have that conversation, right? Like, you don't want to get hurt. What happens to your point, Jeff? Like, I get what you're saying, where it's like, even if it's close, they would go out there. Like, no, not if it's close. Like, no, if it's close and you go out there and get hurt, guess what? Number changes.
Yep.
So, like, to me, I don't think that's a true thought process, because at the end of the day, until you pen to paper, why would you risk getting hurt in that number moving? Why?
Yeah.
You wouldn't. And every player. We saw, the only one that we've seen it with in Detroit is Anzo. And Anzo ended up practicing when he got that kind of, it wasn't even an extension, but he got the guaranteed money for the year, and he got money added onto his deal. So, like, I just don't see a world where it's like, hey, he should be, if it's, they're $1 million or $2 million off or a year or two off, that they would be practicing. Like, no, like, the guy doesn't want to get hurt, obviously. He doesn't. Yeah. He wants to be smart about it. Bijan's doing the same thing. I told you in the back, I said, remember these running backs guys, like, out of any position group, they all talk the most. And we saw it a couple years ago when they had that running back Zoom meeting where they were trying to get the market for the running backs back on track. I'm not going to sit here and say Jahmyr and Bijan are working together, but there's probably a similar thought process with both of them. If training camp starts today, they're both not at training camp, and they're both sitting there not practicing. There's probably a reason why they both want to get a similar deal, and they're both trying to go about it the same exact way. And to me, I would have to think that Jahmyr doesn't practice. I could be wrong on this. I'll hand up if I am. That he's not going to practice until that pen's to paper, even if they are close.
Because the report is he's holding out, correct? He's not at training camp?
See, that's wrong. He is there.
So he's holding in.
There are pictures of him walking into the facility that the Lions posted. So he's probably not out at practice. I'm guessing he's at the facility, and he's in Allen Park. It's just that he's not practicing, and they didn't see him out on the practice field, or they haven't seen him around the reporters haven't seen it, because there are pictures of Jahmyr Gibbs showing up to training camp this week. So it's not that he's just not in Allen Park.
Yeah.
It's more so probably, my guess, it's a hold in, and again, you're holding in because you just don't want to get hurt, man. Because if a hamstring happens, if something happens, anything can happen, right? You just don't want to affect the contract negotiations at the end of the day. Which I get on his end, right? Like, I understand that. Can't be mad at him. But we knew this was going to happen because John Jansen a week ago said, hey, if a deal's not done, from my inside report, he's probably going to have a hold-in.
Well, the reason I bring up, like, how far are they off from maybe the number, you've had all offseason to essentially get this done. That's where my mind goes. And he's under contract this year. He's got the fifth-year option that has been picked up the following year by the Detroit Lions. And they didn't pick up Jack Campbell's fifth year, and they extended him and got it done. They picked up Jahmyr Gibbs' fifth-year option, and we're in training camp, and it's still not done. So that's where my mind is right now is, like, I still think he will get extended. I'm just trying to read between the lines with this and be like, why hasn't this already gotten done to the point where he's holding out for training camp? Is he a position that needs to be there at training? Not really. Yeah. I mean, we know what Jahmyr Gibbs is talent-wise. It is a new offense, but in all reality, he will be fine. Ultimately, it's not like, this is a player maybe on the O-line where you need this. Jahmyr will be fine. I don't think he's a player that must be at training camp right now, but that's just where I'm thinking.
No, I feel you. No, go ahead.
I would say the issue you run into, though, like with all of this, I think this is kind of and I know you're the don't pay Gibbs guy, right? Like, we know that. I think with the holdout or hold in, it's confirmed that he's going to end up getting paid.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't hold in. Like, the Lions need him on offense. You need him on that offense. And if he's going to sit there and not practice, you have to get a deal done now. Like, the only way you don't pay him and you say, let's push it to the fifth year, let's maybe use a franchise tag, the only way that is if Gibbs shows up and he's playing on that deal, this current deal. And he's not. Yeah. So I think today shows he wants a deal. He will not play or he's going to hold in until a deal is done.
Right.
So there's going to be a deal. So, like, that's only, I think, the
my question was why hasn't this gotten done?
Well,
you've had all summer.
To kind of answer that, I feel like this was always going to be the harder contract to get done because he's probably going to reset the market. We don't know by how much, but I assume that Jahmyr Gibbs, with his skill set and just where he's at right now, he's probably going to be the highest paid running back in the league. So Jack Campbell's contract being a little bit easier than that, especially seeing that, he didn't want the most money. So I feel like they were able to get that done. And Booner, I think you absolutely cooking on this, but to kind of go back to Jeff's point, it's hard to tell from the first day of him missing or holding in because clearly it's going to be a hold in. Both sides want to get it done. You don't really see holdout type situations with the Lions because that means there's just a clear disagreement between the organization and the player and he doesn't want to do it. But overall, I think that just right now on the first day, you can't really make that argument, but if this were to draw out longer with him holding in and missing more and more practices, I think at that point it does kind of lend to maybe your point. The numbers might be off between the two camps, and it's just taking longer to get it done. But I assume they will get it done probably before the season even starts.
And you think Jahmyr is tail-wise, he's incredible. And to your point, if the Lions feel like this guy is a must-have on the field, I think he falls into the bucket of all the other extensions you've gotten done relatively quickly, or at least on time, to where they weren't holding in or holding out for training camp. Holding in, I'll go with.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm like, again, I'm not trying to insinuate it's not going to get done. I'm just asking questions. Why are we here at this point?
Yeah, because if you were going to get the deal done, it should have been done.
For example,
I get
if
that
Jahmyr
point.
if they had a discussion and Jahmyr Gibbs' agent was like, he wants to be the highest paid, and the Lions were like, we love him, we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
Make him the highest
but
paid.
I don't think it's that simple for Brad.
See,
Clearly
like,
it's not.
what? But that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Why?
They're pushing back. You would have to think that the Lions are pushing back a little bit.
Yeah,
because there hasn't been outside of Anzo with this kind of regime. There's never been a holdout or a hold in besides Alex Anzalone.
Yeah.
who was, all due respect, like 31. Like they knew.
And that wasn't like a
Right.
massive deal that you had to get done. It wasn't like it was like one of the Brian Branches or the Laportos or
Right.
even like a Goff or a Panay.
Right.
It was Anzo, who was like a vet who's been here. You got him in free agency. But like Jahmyr is like one of the best running backs in the league.
Thank you.
So you're sitting there and you're like I get Jeff's point on this. Why isn't it done? It's probably because the Lions, I'm not going to say are fully on the Jeff side of like, hey, don't pay the running back. But I think that they're on the side of, hey, we have to be more cautious on what this deal looks like.
Yeah.
How many years is it?
That part.
What's the price of it? And that's kind of their thought process. Or else, to Jeff's point, there wouldn't be a hold-in right now. And he would be on the practice field, and there would have been a deal done already. And I think we all should have listened to the reports weeks ago. I think Schefter put it out. Hey, this thing might take a couple weeks. John Jansen put it out. Hey, there might be a hold-in or a hold-out because of the contract. Like, these are reports that have been coming out that I think a lot of people outside of maybe Jeff Iafrate were ignoring a little bit and trying to be like, no, Gibbs would never do that. He would never do that. The Lions are going to pay him the top money. They're going to break the market for him.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying that. No, it felt like people had their blinders on and did not want to believe that both of those two things were going to be true.
Right.
They both ended up being true. The Lions obviously don't want to just pay him max money instantly and be like, here you go, here's the bag.
Right.
And Gibbs obviously is doing what he's doing today, which, again, both sides have the right to do it. But I think, again, connecting the dots to this whole point, both sides at the end of the day, I don't know. It's like as a running back, it's such a tough deal to get done. I don't know,
and I don't know. Maybe
if I
and
try
again,
to connect those dots, it's really hard.
It's hard, and we're not going to be able to again. We don't have all the context, but I'll throw out there maybe if I'm Gibbs' agent, the way I would look at it is, okay, my client is arguably the best running back in the NFL, and we know from a receiving standpoint, he is incredible. He is basically not just a running back, but a weapon. That's how Dan has talked about him. That's how Brad has talked about him. That's how we know him to be. He's more than just a running back, which I understand that. I wonder if that's part of the negotiation as well with him. It's like, hey, you're going to pay him to be a running back, but you're also going to put he's going to take a lot of workload in the receiving game. You got to pay him to be a weapon, not a running back, a weapon. That's what he is.
Right.
So I wonder if it's like, is it as simple as resetting the market by $1 million? Or is it like, nah, we want a little more than that.
But Bijan has the same argument. Bijan is a guy that does both as well, and he's a weapon. I wonder if there's both sides are holding out. And I'm not saying Lions and Gibbs. I'm saying Gibbs' camp and Bijan's camp, because they want to see what the other player's getting. And they're like, who's going to get it first? Who's going to be the one to break the market or go past that market fully, not just $1 million, but $4 or $5 million more? Because we've seen it with defensive tackles. You just saw yesterday Jalen Carter go get $38 million, which the guy before that, Chris Jones, is at I think 30, 31.
He blew it out the water,
and he blew it out by $7-8 million.
Right.
So I wonder if there's a world right now where Gibbs is sitting there and being like, I want to see what Bijan gets, and my camp wants to see that, and Bijan's I'm waiting to see what you get. And there's a kind of like a running back kind of battle to see who can get the most. And if you're Brad, at the end of the day, this is where I start to move towards Jeff's side. If you're getting into those waters, man, we just can't afford it. I know how good you are. We can't afford to go up to 25, 26, 27 for a running back. Can we?
No.
Nah.
That's so much money. Now, if you're like, hey, 20, you're at the top of the market, okay. But the fact that they're sitting, I think Brad would do that in an instant. The fact that there's a hold in, I think Jeff's right. It shows Gibbs wants way more than probably expected.
And I can't appreciate the Lions side of it. And this is where we'll go at Brad to be more aggressive and make moves, but you got to be consistent. I do praise the Lions, if this is how it's going, that they're being thorough. And it's a lot of money to commit to any player, but you guys know how I feel, just specifically that running back position, which, again, the lifespan and the risk it comes with paying running backs. I can appreciate the patience in how thorough Brad is being right now. Again, I still, in KG, I do think it will get done.
I think so too.
I just think it's worth discussing maybe what's the gap between both camps.
Right. No,
that's where
I think it's a very, very fair point. But ultimately, as fans, I don't think we should worry too much because this hold in or out or whatever you want to call it, it's a hold in because he's there. It's not coming from a toxic place. You haven't heard reports of, both sides are very far apart. Kind of like the Jalen Duren thing. Okay, Jalen's feeling this way. The Pistons are saying one thing, he's saying the other. It hasn't really played out like that. So I think it is just like the minor stuff, the small details. Okay, we're going to reset the market, but like you said, by how much? Can you shave a little bit off the top here? Because the Lions also have to have some assurances in that contract because he is a running back, and that is a position that is high risk, if you want to go pay a guy, even as special as he is. So, but I expect it to get done because both sides that's been the report all offseason. Both sides want to get it done.
And they've both been vocal, Dan and Brad. They want him back.
Yeah.
They probably just want him back at the right number.
That's it.
Or the right structure of the contract.
This has to get done quicker than not. Like, you have to get this done because the issue is like your run game last year was not good.
Right.
Your offensive line was not good. And they built this offensive line, and you need to get, and I get it, people are like, it's Jahmyr. Guys, like, there's 2 weeks until the first preseason game?
Yeah.
If maybe less than that. I mean, a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then you're a month out of the actual game. How long is this going to go? Is this going to go a week? Is this going to go just till today and then they get a deal done? Like, is it going to go multiple weeks? Is he going to be out and holding in all the way up until the first preseason game? He needs to get reps with these guys in this offensive line.
Right.
This is a new offensive line. This isn't 2023 where, hey, you have your vets in there with Frank and, Taylor Decker and you're good to go. Like, you know how this offensive line works. You need to be able to be in there and get reps with Cade Mays, in front of you. Blake Miller in front of you. Get reps with Panay now at left tackle.
Right.
Like, you need to start getting reps in here. So, like, the longer this holds out, like, yeah, that's not great in my opinion for your run game that you're trying to kind of revitalize going into this year.
Booner, can I ask you something? And once again, you cooking on that. Let's say worst case scenario happened, they don't get it done and it goes into the season. Does Jahmyr Gibbs strike you as a player that would possibly hold out like during the season? Because I don't see that. I think that worst case he would play the season if they couldn't get a deal.
The issue is he doesn't, but also I didn't think that Jahmyr Gibbs would hold in or hold out in training camp. I didn't think he was that type of player. I thought when we heard the reports a week ago, I was like, it was shocking. Listen, I believed it because it came from John Jansen.
But a hold in ain't a bad thing. We view it as that because we've seen ugly situations before.
But when you hold in, that essentially means like, hey, you just don't want to play until a contract is done. So
right.
if the contract doesn't get done, what would make us think that he's going to just strap up and play? I don't know. Like, I was already shocked to hear that this was going to happen a week ago when the reports came out. I was like, I thought Gibbs was a guy that would play through this because he is going into his fourth year. He still has a fifth year. He still has 2 years on his contract.
Yeah.
Like, I would.
That's
think
why
that
I
he
don't
would
sweat it as much.
Like, that's why I'm shocked that he's not at training camp and playing in training camp because it's like you still have 2 years on your deal. Like, I understand it, but like.
We're drawing conclusions from the first day. Like I said, if this were to drag on, then of course more and more questions would pop up. But because they do have kind of the luxury of time right now, you don't have to get a deal done. Is it imperative? Sure. But I just don't see Jahmyr Gibbs as being a player that would carry this into the regular season or even get close to that. I think eventually he would hit the field.
I do want to read our super chat here. We'll get to break. We'll come back. We'll continue this conversation. But I do want to make sure we hit this shot. Appreciate the 5. He says, thanks a lot, Jeff Illich. Now Gibbs is going to hold out, and the RB market is going to effing triple.
True.
Okay, how is that Jeff Illich's fault?
Jeff Illich, I forgot.
What did I do? Why am I Jeff Illich? I still don't I don't understand.
You don't want to pay. You don't want to pay him. He deserves the money, and you don't want to pay him.
Hey, just one other comment, too. Just a fan
Shout
said,
out, Shad.
Gibbs doesn't need reps. Lions O-line need reps. Guys, you're like, come on. Like,
well, I don't think it's.
I've heard offensive linemen talk about it. I've heard running backs talk about it. When you get new O-line, when you get new running backs, like, you get a feel for how, like, running behind specific guys. You have a new right tackle in there. You got to be able to get comfortable running behind the right tackle. A new center in there running behind him. Panay's on the left side. You got to get used to it. It's not as easy. It's like, oh yeah, he'll just go in and fill it. Like, yeah, he's Jahmyr Gibbs. He's one of the most skilled running backs in the league. But you still, like, there are things like that you have to kind of get used to and you have to work in. It's not just the offensive line that needs to get a good feel for the new line. It's also Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, it's the same with Jared Goff. Like, that's basically being like, Jared Goff doesn't need reps with the new O-line. Like, no, he does.
Yeah.
All of these guys do. They all do. Sam Laporta, he's blocking with those guys. He needs reps with them. It's not just he's going to be good, throw him in there. Need time, man.
Let's take a break. We come back, we'll continue this conversation. What do we got, Caleb?
Planet Fitness.
Let me tell you about Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is the best. You can work out there anywhere. They got 60-plus Metro locations, Metro Detroit locations. Got one in Royal Oak. You got one in Troy. Got one by me, Chesterfield. So shout out to that one as well. They got a bunch of locations, and they have a deal going on right now through summer. The Planet Fitness High School Summer Pass until August 31st. Teens 14 and 19 can work out in Planet Fitness for free all summer long. Register online at planetfitness.com.
Jahmyr Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. 2, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, this marks the 15th year anniversary of Founders Brewing's and legendary all-day IPA. The drink, man, it's a citrusy, crisp, and refreshing drink with a perfectly balanced taste at 4.7 ABV. It is built to go the entire distance for the entire game. Right now, you can get $5 shorts at any Art and Jake's locations in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And as always, drink responsibly.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. Talking Jahmyr Gibbs not being there for training camp, the first day, and the important discrepancy is hold in or hold out.
That's what we were trying to figure out in the break, because it just feels like it's a massive. That's such a big difference, like not showing up at all, or just being there with the team and not practicing.
The only thing about a hold in is it looks better from a PR standpoint that you're there. Only downside is you're going to be asked questions, and if you want to speak, but they'll at least attempt to try it. There'll be attention on you, if you're there. So again, I don't know if he's going if he's just following advice from his agent of being like, hey man, if you go to training camp, you're going to be swarmed on. Like if you're just out there not practicing, so you're probably best if you just don't go. Again, I'm not even trying to insinuate it's Gibbs being like, I ain't going there. It could be his agent telling him not to do that, but it is an important thing because, again, if to your point, if he's like all in, but he just doesn't want to get hurt, you think he'd be there because he's just out around the team.
But if he's not there, was around the team today. They did say he had an injury, but obviously he requested a trade, but he's there. It was like Anzo last year.
Yeah, Anzo was there.
Anzo was there. He was actually – he didn't – I think it took a couple of days for him to answer questions from the media, but he was out there practicing, talking. I think
he wanted to speak, too, to be honest.
He did. Yeah, he did.
And, Gibbs
he did it all on Twitter, too.
Yeah, he did want to speak.
He absolutely
So there's the difference,
That's fair.
too. I think Anzo really wanted to, throw shade at Brad in that.
Yeah, a little bit.
So he definitely wanted to speak. Gibbs definitely would not want to do that, but still, just go there, be around the team. It looks better from a PR standpoint. I'm just not sure why.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any report. Again, I'm not saying it's one or the other. We have just not seen anything saying that he's in attendance.
But the fact that, again, he's not out at practice, no injury report. Dan went over the injury report. Jahmyr doesn't come up on that at all.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting there.
He didn't bring him up at all during the presser.
No.
Besides the contract extension.
Do we have the video of the contract extension?
Yeah, we have the video.
Let's hear from – so this is what Dan said this morning, this whole thing is a little odd. We'll talk about it. But here's Dan Campbell talking about those extensions.
Obviously got some extensions coming up. Jahmyr Gibbs, kind of the talk of the offseason a little bit. Is it any concern that might lead over into anything at all? Is that something you guys want to do sooner than later, or just what's kind of the update on his situation?
No, I would say, of course, you guys know how we feel about Gibbs and all of our guys, Laporta, Brand, all And so we'll take this as it comes. This is this will kind of continue. It'll come as it comes. I think that's the best way to say it. And so, this is both sides working through something, and we'll take it as it comes. But that's where it is.
Do you think he's going to take it as it comes? Or?
Yeah.
It'll come as it comes.
That was the greatest head coaching. I'm going to get around this question.
I love Dan Campbell.
So good.
I love Dan. I love Dan Campbell, and I mean this just calling it out. A lot of word salad.
Yeah.
And that's his job. Dan's like, listen, I'm just here to get my team ready.
Right.
I don't know what he's not involved. I'm sure he is updated by Brad, but it's not like he's in there with Brad talking about a number. That's like Disner,
right,
that's Brad Holmes. So Dan's just kind of being like, hey, bro, hands up. I'm not involved in that. But, again, tinfoil hat. I'm doing this a lot today, but I'm just throwing it out. If there was maybe an inclination that Gibbs wasn't going to be there today, do you think he would be like, we already are aware that he's not going to practice today? We're in support of him. We want, we're like, you think he would be never something?
That's a Dan Campbell thing.
By the way, he would never. These contracts. I think he's always going to try and get around it. You don't want to. I think the reason he said what he said and the way he did it is because he doesn't want to give the media or all of this anything to run with. And because you know how it goes.
But Gibbs not being there,
he says one thing instantly
running
about Gibbs. I guess he could have, instead of
getting ahead,
waiting for shout out Nolan, who put the news out and was the one that kind of reported it and noticed it. Instead of having it to where media just is like, oh, wow, out of nowhere, he could have been like, hey, just a heads up, Gibbs will not be there. Or, you know what, it could have happened. Maybe he didn't know that Gibbs wasn't going to go out to practice. Which is even worse.
But I think you damned if you do, damned if you don't. You tell the media, hey, Gibbs ain't going to be here. We automatically start asking, well, why isn't he going to be there?
But at least you know, in my opinion, I can't speak for everyone, at least you'd be like, all right, there's already communication. Dan's like, hey, listen, we're in support. We're figuring it out. Whatever the freaking coach verbiage would be. But you'd think there'd be like, hey, Dan, let's get ahead of this thing. Gibbs is not going to be there today. Let's at least mention it. Dan will be like, okay, got it. Because it's like, well, it's not his job. Well, they're going to, like you said, they're going to see he's not there and report it. So it's getting out regardless. I guess if I'm the Lions, I'd rather have Dan Campbell say it and be like, hey, guys, before you even go to training camp and you see Gibbs isn't there, this is what it is.
Do you think that he gets you know how the president gets briefed before press conference? Do you think that they briefed Dan Campbell before?
On some stuff,
as he's
probably,
walking out,
but
hey,
not
boom,
absolutely.
boom, boom.
Yeah, on some stuff, yeah.
So how was that not briefed?
Thank you.
I'm with you. How is that not?
Because I know for a fact, well, not a fact, but my opinion, feels very, very strongly about it. He's been preparing for how to answer the TA stuff. I'm sure they've been like, hey, man,
he did a great job today.
You're going to be asked about TA. The PR does a great job with the Lions kind of figuring that out, getting Dan ready for that stuff. But to your point, Gibbs not being there is a massive freaking story.
And listen, Dan's not an idiot. He had to know that question was coming. But I just, in terms of things like this and the kind of the attitude he took in the Kirby response as well, you can tell that, I think it's to Booner's point, he's not trying to give the media any piece of anything. So I personally think it's not that big of a deal, but I do get what you guys are getting at. I do.
Yeah, and my purpose isn't to try and make this a bigger deal. It's just we're just discussing
just speculating.
Why. Yeah. It's speculation, which is our job is to give opinions. This could get done tomorrow. Okay, it could.
Right.
But, this is why we talk about it. I am curious, and I have not seen it yet. I'm curious what Kevin Stefanski said in Atlanta. Did he mention Bijan's going to be out today? We already are aware of it. We already know what it is.
Actually, that's a perfect point. We could figure that one out.
I don't have the answer to that, but
that's interesting to think though, because it's literally the same exact situation. So you're sitting there and you're looking at it how are they handling it? Right, what's going on with Bijan? Again, I wonder who their agents are. What if they have similar agents or?
Yeah, that's another thing. I think running. I don't know if they have. I don't think they have similar agents, but I do think. And Caleb, you threw this out as a joke, but I wouldn't be entirely shocked if maybe there is running backs. Hey, we're in this together. We're going to reset the market, or it's a
different
simple
agents confirmed,
or it's as simple as hey. It's a chess match or a standoff, and it's who gets paid first. Yeah. And Gibbs and his agents we hope Bijan gets it done because then we'll jump him. And then Bijan's well, we're going to wait and see what Gibbs does because we're going to jump him. I don't know.
Again, I hate to keep bringing this up though. With the Gibbs sitting out, it's such valuable time on this offense.
Yeah.
The new O-line, and then the one thing I didn't even mention earlier. Guess what? Your Demont's not there anymore. Now it's Isaiah Pacheco. So working with Isaiah Pacheco and and you know what's crazy too about this? He was at OTAs.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Why wasn't he there then?
You're at OTAs and then all of a sudden you're not at training camp. I get.
Well, this goes against what you said earlier. You're like, well, he just doesn't want to get hurt.
That's what I'm just connecting
dots.
I'm just connecting dots, man. He was at OTAs.
Do you see why I'm like?
Now all of a sudden he's not. Like, what was the difference from then to now? Was there something big that came up? Has the Lions taken a different path? And kind of quick U-turn on this?
Well, again, speculation. My opinion is OTAs. They might have been discussing the contract stuff, but maybe Gibbs and his agents like, hey, we're going to get this done. We're far away. We have a lot of time. And now we're in late July, about to be in early August, and they're probably still not getting to a number. So now it's like, oh, okay, now we have to hold out.
Yep.
Like, that's where I threw out the thing at the beginning of the show, the idea of, like, I wonder what the gap is. Because at OTAs, when there's a gap, you're like, it's OTAs. Like, we got plenty of time to kind of sort this thing out. Now we're in training camp, and it's like, oh, shit. Like, we're still kind of at this gap right now.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
it's all possible. That's why I say, like, the longer this drags out, I think more of our questions are then start to get answered. It's hard to track from the first day, though.
Two comments, too, real quick. Jomo Lion King said, Boone, they aren't in pads. Yeah, that's my point, is OTAs, they weren't in pads, and he was out there. They're not in pads, Dan said today, for at least a week.
Yeah.
Not out there. So it's like you could at least be out there, and then, honestly, he could have done? He did OTAs. Why not go out there, and then if the contract doesn't get solved in the first week, pads start to happen, I'm not going to practice. Once we start hitting, I'm not practicing in case I get hurt. Other comment, too. Corin Gillen said, did you guys already apologize to John Jansen? Yeah. We
addressed that already.
By the way, our show, too, we reported it last week. I think John Jansen does have an inside there. I think he does. I said it a week ago when he reported it. I thought that was like a serious something to watch out for. There were a lot of people who tried to discredit him and say it wasn't true. We've been at the front end of – we listened to what he said.
Yeah, and he definitely needed – that report needed more respect. Caleb, are you worried? What's the panic button for you with this whole thing?
It's not necessarily a panic button, but the way I'm looking at it is like the obvious way to look at it is, okay, why aren't the Lions trying to beat the Falcons to the punch and try to pay Gibbs before Bijan gets paid, and vice versa for the Falcons? Why aren't they trying to pay him first? But like I did kind of joke about it at the break, but I do think Bijan and Gibbs both realize what they're worth, and I don't think they're just trying to break the market or reset the market. I think they're trying to make a couple more $1 million. I
agree.
Because I think they're starting to realize, okay, the insurgence of the 12 personnel and the play action and the run game, it's all back. Running backs are super important right now, and we are both the best players on our team. We want to make more money. So I think Gibbs and his agent and Bijan and his agent are both holding out to see who gets paid, or to wait for the other guy to get paid, and then they want to make more than the other guy. So it's the good old Western standoff. That's what's happening right now. Which is, I mean, I don't want to say it can get ugly, but this could be a while till this happens, till a deal gets done.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. That's what I mentioned earlier. I do think Gibbs is probably, because if I'm Gibbs' agent, I'm going, hey Brad, this is what your head coach and you've said about him in the past. You've said he's a weapon. You said he's more than just a running back. I would use their words against them. Pay him as a weapon.
Yeah.
Like I think Jalen Carter, even though they're completely different positions, breaking the market by millions of dollars shows that this thing happens at different positions where you don't always have to jump the top position by, a little bit, a couple $100,000 or $1 million bucks. You can go up there and be like, hey, top running back makes 19. I want 24.
Do you remember the Micah Parsons stuff?
Yeah.
I think the top edge rusher was like Max Crosby at the time. Again, this is just a thought. I don't know if the exact number. I think it was like 36, 37 million, and Myles Garrett as well. And then like a couple months later, Micah Parsons goes and gets like 45 plus million, and it jumped it almost by like 10 million.
Yeah.
And then boom, market's completely different. And you saw it with the corner room, right? You saw it with Tyler Linderbaum, the center.
Another one.
You saw that where it was like 20 million or even like less. It might have been like 17 million.
Jumped it by a landslide.
Yeah. Goes up to like 28, 29 million. Was getting paid now more, almost 30, getting paid more than Penei Sewell, the top tackle in the league. So like you see that, and I wonder if that's the. And I'm interested to see if there's fans that have. I said, hey, all of you fans that said pay Jahmyr Gibbs, right? The 20 million. What if I put in KG? Were you two both pay Gibbs?
Yeah, I'm pro Gibbs.
What if I said this? So originally the deal is 4 years, 20 million, right? So what is it
per year? So
per year,
4
20. So 4 for 100, right? What if I went to you and let me do this math real quick? What if I said 4 years, 112 million, 28 a year? Are you still okay with paying Jahmyr Gibbs?
It depends on the term, but I would consider it, yes. But I also,
That's so
but
much
by
money,
saying
dude.
that, I also realize, okay, there may be extensions down the line I may not do.
And you're okay with that.
And I'm okay with that. That's
$28
me
million a
personally.
year. So
It would basically be
that's a lot, though.
It would basically be, well, it depends if they want to pay. I don't know. Again, this is the key question too. I think it might be three years.
Yeah.
maybe,
I don't
maybe
think-
that's what's kind of
I
what
don't-
I'm saying
term
back is
matters.
the term.
I don't
Term
think
matters.
I don't think they want 4 years because he'll be 25. What would he be? 25, 26. He'll probably be what? 30, close to 30.
Close
when
to
that,
30, yeah.
So at that point, they're probably going, let's go 3 years. And we'll count the 5th year as the first year. So it's a $15 million fully guaranteed. And then after that, we'll start a 3-year contract. I think it's probably going to be like, I thought 3 for 60, like 20 per year. Maybe it's like 3 for, 75, 3 for 80, something like that.
That could happen. What if the Falcons just go, all right, fuck it, Bijan, here's $25 million a year, and then what do you do if you're the Lions? You have to reset the market with Gibbs again. You can't give him 23. So like that number you just gave out, Booner, that 28, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds crazy. It sounds like something we didn't even bring up to start this offseason. We just thought it was going to be $1 million or $2 million more. That's something that legitimately could happen, which is terrifying.
Can I say this? And Caleb, solo real quick. Jahmyr Gibbs. Thank you, Caleb. Jahmyr Gibbs, just sign the contract. Sign. I'm not going to pocket watch or anything. Amon-Ra signed early. Panay signed early. J-Mo signed early. Jared, as much as people don't like the contract, he signed early.
Yep.
Jack Campbell took under market value, and he took less. I get it. One of the best running backs in the league, one of the best weapons in the league. If you're trying to go out there and get 28 and fully break this market like we've seen Micah Parsons doing, I get it. But if you want to win a Super Bowl and keep the band together and go out there and win, sign the deal. Take the $20 million. Take the price at where it is right now. Because if you're going to break the market and you're going to fully break this thing out and make them go 28 and really go way over market value because you want to be the one to do it, then you got to say bye to your friends in Amon-Ra and Brian Branch and Sam Laporta and all the, I'm obviously not Amon-Ra, but all these different players that are due money or are going to be due money again. You're going to have to look them all in their eyes and say, you know what, we'll move on from them because I wanted to go way over market value or the years. Like, let's get this contract done. Let's play football and let's go try and win a Super Bowl. That's how I look at it. And I know people are going to be like, Booner, you're pocket watching. Like, dude, but like, list all the players that have signed contracts. They've either done under market or they signed early to help the team out with comes with the market value. They've all done it. Every single one of them have done it. Have they not? Who hasn't?
They have, but
who hasn't?
Yeah. No, they have, but I feel like this is just a little bit different because Gibbs,
why? It's the same as all these other guys. They're all pros.
Yeah, it's just a controversial.
Is he an all pro?
No, but I just it's just I do agree, but it is a little bit different because number one, the running back contracts, they're controversial, and Gibbs is the best player at his position right now, so it is a little bit different, but. I do agree with you. These players did take,
They all did. And I get it. It's a little different. But like, how different? Like a 3-year, $20 million deal. You're one of the highest paid running backs in the league. Let's roll.
Yeah.
And now I'll say this: if that's the holdup with the Lions, and they actually want to pay him, and they're not doing like a 3-year 20, then yeah, that's an issue on the Lions end. But if you're the Lions and you're like, hey, this is our offer, this will help us out for the next 3 years. Like, dude, Jahmyr, you do that, you're in contract for the next 5 years on this roster. We don't have to. Now we can just go and build this team more.
Right.
We can go get a Brian Branch deal done now. We can get a Laporta deal done now. We can go out there and work on this thing. Like, remember when Jack Campbell went to the media after he signed his contract and was like, yeah, I apologize to all the other linebackers that were trying to get market value. He's like, that's on me, but I want to help this team win football games, and I want to help this roster stay together. And again, not asking every player to do it. I get it. Pocket watching. But realistically, when you have some guys in that building doing it and others that are like, I'm going to hold out, that's an issue. That's a little bit of like a, come on, man.
No, I don't think you pocket watching at all. But what would be your line?
Well, if I'm him, I'm just like, hey, what's the market? Who's the highest paid running back right now?
Yeah.
Who is that?
I think it's.
No, I'm saying, Booner, if you were signing him, though, what would be your line?
I would literally just say, whatever the top running back deal is right now, let's get that done. Jeff's point, 3 years.
So the exact number, or would you? How many more?
I would go 500,000 more. So like, hey, if you want to break the market value and you want to go higher and you want to kind of change the market, okay. But in my opinion, and in kind of connecting the dots, it feels like that there might be a world where you keep seeing all these deals get done with other position groups that they're going $5 to $10 million more
than
what the market value is, and this it's getting pushed up.
The reason why I said I would definitely entertain it if let's say the number were 28 or whatever is because there are ways to manipulate that contract, and we know that Brad is very meticulous in that way. It could be a little bit on the Lions end as well because, like I said, it might be okay. We want to backload this, or we'll give you more guaranteed money up front, but we need this, and this, towards the end of the contract. So I think there are ways to kind of maneuver it in the same ways that Jared Goff had a $70+ million cap hit. We were all worried about, you can't pay him that. What are you doing? They found a way to kind of reduce.
By the way,
that.
Mike,
I think there's ways.
Booner's saying that holding out, he's going to lose a bunch of friends. Say what? That's his business. Guys, I'm not saying he's going to lose friends, but I'm just saying if you look at other players on their team, they know they have to pay a billion guys on this team $1 billion.
Right.
Like, they understand that. And, like, you see just, like, the last contract that was done was the Jack Campbell one, and he took the hit a little bit. Obviously, it wasn't like a massive hit. It was like $1 million less.
Different situation.
But he still took like $1 million less to where it's like, hey, if you're Gibbs, like, are you asking for how much more are you asking for the market value? That's where I think this thing comes into play, where you're a little bit like, where is that number at?
I'll be honest too. Like, if you want to, this is where negotiations sometimes with this stuff gets a little dirty. Like, if you really want to go there, like Gibbs, and people are like, well, wait. Because if Bijan signs, you have to get paid more than him. You have to pay him more than Bijan. Like, yeah, that's true. But, like, I don't think, and this is where I'll go with it, like, I think Bijan, as of right now, he's had better numbers than Jahmyr Gibbs. That's a fact. So I think, and Bijan has also proven to be a bell cow back with Atlanta. He just has.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets a bunch of touches. And last year was 4th in yards. He's putting up 2,000. We talk about 2,000 yards, scrimmage yards. I mean, Bijan's doing that.
Offense.
He's their entire offense. And Jahmyr is a big part of the Lions' offense. But, like, people just say, like, for me, if this thing doesn't work out, and we talked about it during the break, and it goes to the season, I don't think Gibbs is going to hold out during the season.
I don't.
He's subject to fines. He's not going to do that. But, like, I'm going to fall back to what I originally said, months ago. It's like, all right, dude, go out there and prove it this year. Prove me wrong. And if regardless, you're going to have to reset the market anyway. I wouldn't pay him, like, if we're talking like $25+ million, I ain't doing that. You guys know how I feel regardless, but if I'm the Lions and I'm going to pay him and I have to pay him, I'm not paying him, as a pure weapon yet. If I don't even know he can be the bell cow. Like,
connecting those dots, isn't that why, though, you would think that there's, like, issues with the contract? Is because he wants that. Like, there's no way the Lions wouldn't pay him what the top running back is paid right now.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they're willing to go over, too. But like I said, they just have to find ways to maybe kind of maneuver that number a little bit. But for the skill set and everything, I think and to your point, Jeff, yes, he hasn't proven that yet, but it's clear that they are moving in the direction of we're making you the bell cow because of the offensive coordinator you brought in and just the whole bit. They are moving to a system in which it's going to be the Gibbs show a majority of the time. So if that is the role, then you have to pay me accordingly.
By the way, shout out Freddie. He gave $2. He said, here's $2 towards Sonic's contract.
Freddie doing the people's work.
And all of a sudden, we just got breaking news. Jahmyr Gibbs is back at practice.
Yeah, right.
More than the market.
Yo, $2, man.
We're going to be joined by Detroit Lions reporter, our good friend, John Macaroon, whether he's credentialed or not. He's our guy. He's our source for information, and he has opinions that need to be shared. So he's going to be joining us to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, Dan Campbell's comments, and all that and much more. But we got to go to break, Caleb. What do we got?
Tell us about water hazard.
I'll tell you about water hazard. Guys, I was golfing yesterday. They got water hazard everywhere. If you're golfing, it's absolutely delicious. And you can go to any Art and Jake's location in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I believe it is. But definitely on Thursdays, you can head over to Art and Jake's and get your water hazard vodka cocktail, very first from Founders. It's absolutely delicious, and it's my favorite. I'm a vodka cocktail guy, and you can have a couple of these without even really knowing. So check out Founders Water Hazard, and please drink responsibly.
You're building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, it all starts with the kids.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better without them. This limited 2026 spring offer is thousands less than others charge. Go to YaldoEyeCenter.com for your free evaluation and save.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, it's time to upgrade your game with the Thrive Energy pouches. We need to get Gibbs or Brad Holmes, whoever's doing this contracts, we need to get them some Thrive pouches. Packing over 300 milligrams of clean and smart caffeine, including alpha GPC and L-theanine. You get no jitters, no sugar crash, no bloating, none of that stuff. And right now, you see the it on the screen there, dipstop.com. You get 15% off the entire order with promo code WSN. You can find them at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. It's Thrive. They just effing work.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. Every single Wednesday, we're joined by John McEnroe, the DOC, the Doc. He's one of one, and he hosts Detroit Lions and SI on YouTube, Detroit Lions and SI coverage. He does an excellent job. Even if he doesn't have a credential, he's our brother. Let's bring him in. John McEnroe. How we doing? The DOC.
Fellas, you believe it or not, I went to Darren McCarty's wrestling school. I said, I don't have a name. They said, you can't be John McEnroe. Darren looked at me. He goes, all right, size me up. He said, you, my friend, are the sensational Big Dick DeQuinder.
Okay.
I said, where'd you get that from? I said, oh, my work, my stature, I got it. Thank you, Darren.
Stature's crazy.
I am the sensational DOC. Here we are, baby. I want to address one thing you guys said. You were humble and respectful towards me, but I'll say this. I know you said it in passing, but if you think my stock is down, get out of here. You should have bought stock in me in 2019. It was Google through the roof, baby. My stock is through the roof. It's trending. It's not going down. Are you kidding?
Well, I mean, there was a dip. We bought the dip.
More time for debate. More time for analysis. You're seeing my name everywhere. This is the greatest 7 days I've ever had reporting.
Well, hey, Doc, we're just buying the dip. That's all. I mean, it was like a 24-hour span. Well, I mean, when there's a big announcement in like the stock market, there's a quick couple-hour dip. When people found out that about Doc, there was a quick dip. Down stock market, boom, buy the dip, quick, buy the dip. And then we bought the dip, and then as soon as the dip happened, within a day, boom, it shot up again. We
Doc's
bought
on
dip,
top,
Doc.
man, just like he always is. And you know what? It wouldn't be a Doc segment if we didn't open up with a running back question. Jahmyr Gibbs holding out first day. And we've been doing our own investigation work. I know you do a great job of this. You would appreciate this, Doc. So today we're talking to the Bijan stuff, and we're trying to compare the situations. And the first thing we asked was, well, what did Kevin Stefanski say about Bijan? Because the way Dan said it was, well, you know, kind of word salad. And I threw out there, and you have a ton of experience being in that room. Like, do you think it's odd that Dan didn't just address and get in front of it with the Jahmyr stuff and be like, hey, we already are aware he's not going to be at practice today, yada, 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 just to kind of like get the media already alerted with it so that way they don't go to practice and be like, you know, Jahmyr's not at practice, and it becomes a big storyline. Is that fair for me to ask that? Is that fair for me to wonder why that is?
Well, first and foremost, Dan doesn't know who the reporters are in the room. He's out there calling for people that aren't there, and the Lions already knew about it. So, look, let's just be real here. The teams try to downplay all these things. Look, by and large, look what happens. And it's easy to do because fans don't even want to believe reports from a place that's a partner with the team. Who would be surprised about Jahmyr Gibbs holding in? Oh, wait a minute. I thought Amon-Ra St. Brown went on a national interview and said Jahmyr loves football. Remember, the one thing and the blessing is why my stock rises is I can hear things and then tell you guys, look, That's media bullshit. They're just trying to spin it. I'm also a PR expert after 15 years. I know the spin. I know what they're trying to do. And I'm the guy that you trust to decipher the bullshit that teams deliver. And that's what they're supposed to do. That's their job. Amon-Ra St. Brown in a million years, and I see it posted, Amon-Ra said this. And if you're an average fan that just looks at that and goes, it's all good, and doesn't know how to put a puzzle together, that's on you. I try to help you guys be less ignorant, but if you believe it, great. If you don't, the train keeps moving. And so it was a simple puzzle. One, Mike Florio said, hey, 3 months ago, he gave his opinion. He said Jahmyr Gibbs should never come to training camp, ever, because of the fact he's about to make $20 million a year. And then John Jansen at the flagship, who is connected with the team, he didn't just say, well, I think he might not. He said, I talked to people in the building, and they said they wouldn't even be surprised. So the Lions already knew. Okay, guys, it's not even a surprise. And second of all, if you read Lions on SI, we reported it, we covered it, and we said, yeah, it makes sense. He should not come to training camp unless he has a signed, sealed, delivered contract. Same with Bijan Robinson. And the team's always, remember, guys, the team's job is to limit the noise. It's my job to bring to light things and talk about things that are important to the fan base. And so that's the difference. That's their job. If they came out and said, oh man, Jahmyr Gibbs is holding out, Dan Campbell said that, it would have been more, I think, more of a storyline. But it's not listen, if you follow sports media correctly and you know how to read and you know how to interpret and you have a brain, this is not a surprise. Jahmyr Gibbs should hold out until he gets, until Bijan signs, until he gets his fat money.
Yeah, Doc, I want to ask you kind of where do you think this kind of contract talks are when it comes to the price? Because we were having the conversation before, and the one thing in the NFL right now that we keep seeing, like the example I brought up, Micah Parsons with the Myles Garrett, where Myles Garrett got 37, whatever it was, and then Micah Parsons comes in and just throws the market off and gets like 10 plus million more, up to 45 plus. We've seen it with Jalen Carter yesterday, just got 8 million more from the previous highest. Corner room, we got to see it. We saw Tyler Linderbaum. That happened as well, where he got like 10 million more than his market. Do you think that there is a world where Jahmyr is going to the Lions and saying, hey, the number right now is like 20 and a half with Saquon. I want 28. I want 27. And Bijan's kind of doing the same thing. Or do you think that they're just stuck on like 21, depending on the years and kind of, where do you think that's at? Do you think there's a world where Jahmyr just fully breaks this market out and goes up to that 25 plus number?
Yeah, well, obviously, and I definitely love sharing. And obviously, I think part of the reason why I'm still trusted despite the recent news regarding your favorite DOC is I'm online. I'm a researcher. I'm an expert researcher. And I love all the content from you guys and every outlet. Even the ones that take the time to disparage me and have no clue what they're talking about. So I spend a lot of time researching. And so yesterday it came right across. Brad Galley does a wonderful show. He also made the wise decision to go independent, and he's now got the Brad Galley show. I just saw him yesterday at the golf course. He's a nice dude and someone you should support locally. And he interviewed Adam Schefter. He said he's hearing that it could happen quick. So look, these things can start to happen. Look, when Brad Holmes walked in the building, he looked like he was floating on clouds. He's like, I feel radiant. So look, I think the numbers are close in regards to, there's two factors here, and this is what makes Jahmyr Gibbs feel great, can sleep good at night, and why I don't think this is a big deal at all. I think you wait. I think if you want to wait, see what Bijan gets and maybe get $500,000 more than Bijan, because if you're a representative of Jahmyr Gibbs, you think you're better overall than Bijan Robinson. You don't want to take a deal that's, I think, less than market setting. So I don't think he's going to come in and be like at $27 million. I think the numbers start at 20 and a half. The issue I don't think is really the exact numbers. It's going to be the years, the terms, how much is guaranteed, the void years, all those kind of things, the particulars, the finer points. And also, too, he can sit back and wait and just go, I'm just going to wait till Bijan. I get a free vacation. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to take any kind of hits. There's no pads on. I just sit back in my representatives and say, okay, yeah, we're start at 20 and a half. Tell me where we're at. When Bijan signs, I'm just going to go $500,000 more than that, and then I'll be the number one paid. So it is a little bit of a lucky situation to have Bijan, but I don't think this is something that's contentious. Jahmyr Gibbs is well-liked. He showed up at the facility. So it's not a holdout. It's a hold-in. But I think it's one in which business as normal. He's going to get paid, and I think he's going to get paid a lot of money. I would be surprised if – listen, I'm just speculating. I would be surprised if we get deep into camp into middle of August and Jahmyr doesn't have a contract. He's well worth it. Everybody knows it, and Jahmyr will get paid. And the great Adam Schefter, even though he went to Michigan, said it's close. So I'll choose to believe it at this point in time.
Doc, I'll change the conversation to something that's been happening lately. Kirby Joseph, the conversations around his health, his future. I know you've had some back and forth with Kirby on Twitter. He's been going crazy on the Twitter account. But just for his health, this is the confusing part for me, and I think all of fans, and why it's very concerning, is we're basically trending towards, we're not there, but trending up to kind of a year since the bone bruise that kind of re-aggravated the injury. And we had Dr. Jimmy Liao on the show, and he talked about how the cartilage is basically bone to bone and how in a lot of cases it's something that could be career-ending. Now, the Lions that, Dan spoke about, he seemed a little more positive in the press conference by saying, like, he's moving around, but they don't really have, like, a timetable. He hinted that he could miss the start of the season. He's on the Branch timeline, which to me is really concerning because Branch tore his Achilles. Where are you at with Kirby's future? Are you still in the bucket of being worried his career is potentially over?
Yeah. First and foremost, let me make the announcement. It is I that is running the new Kirby Joseph account, and it is me battling myself every single day. No, it was fascinating. It was fascinating to see him go at everybody, myself included. And I'm like, you know what? We can have fun with this because he is the first player openly to talk to me in that manner. I love that. Everyone looked at it like, oh, he's dunking on you. I'm like, we're having a civil discussion. I'm like, oh, I can state my point. That one, I'm not a cheerleader for the team. My job is to, and I also got to tell him, hey, it looks like you're watching half the game tape. You're ignoring the fact that we call you the best safety in the league and only focusing in on the fact that I don't really find it appealing that you're on social media teasing the fans. And it's not lighthearted. I'm not mad at them at a 10, but the fans, you're opening the fans being upset because nobody wants to bet you about your health. All we care about is obviously being healthy, being available for this football team. Yes, we want you to have great mental health. Yes, we care about your overall well-being. But at this point in time, when people are talking about the PUP list, they're not worried about betting you. They're not trying to actually bet you about your health. They just want to know, are you going to be on it or not? And be honest about it. That's what it's for. But he's a 25-year-old young man. He's got a big ego, and he's out there trying to prove it. And remember, on the Lone Wolves podcast, I said, it's going to be great. He is going to be somebody that's going to be practicing. Now, the key is going to be now, he did make a recent post saying God is good. How does his body react tomorrow? Is he able to consistently practice to be able to? I don't think he's somebody that comes in where he was never going to be maybe potentially out of the game of football forever, but how much is he able to practice? These are all questions we got to find out. How consistently is he able to prepare? So those are the things that have to be answered. And right now, your doctor succinctly said it. There's a little bit more concern that he had 10 months to rehab this, and a player like Daniel Jones injured himself, and he's already back cleared, and Kirby Joseph not yet. But look, bottom line, Kirby Joseph wants to keep this positive. But again, and I know people look through a very fan-friendly lens, Kirby Joseph has been optimistic in the past, and he also has let down fans. So he's looking at this through a sheer fan optimistic prism. He doesn't want to set alarms to make the poor fans upset and riled up. So I get it, but bottom line, he currently, as we sit, is on an injury list, and there's a risk that he potentially will not be there week one. So as we sit, I'm alarmed, just like everybody else. But that's it. It's a normal alarm. I'm not taking it to career threatening. I'm not a hater. I'm not somebody that wants to see him have a downfall. But again, I'm not looking at it through the sole prism of super fanboy that wants him to praise me and say, hey, I love you. It's just, hey, I love you as a player, but I think that you tweeting nonstop actually pissed off the fans, and that was your fault.
I do also want to ask kind of on the other side of things, Brian Branch. It was also said that Brian Branch potentially, Dan announced, could be back as early, not obviously fully playing, but back to training camp at the end of training camp, early September, practicing on the practice field. What are your kind of assumptions of that, Doc? Do you think that he gets back out there? I know the original report, and everyone always talked about December was kind of that goal for him. Jeff and I talked about on the show yesterday, Daniel Jones actually tore his Achilles after Brian Branch. I think it was a couple days after, is now cleared to practice. Two different positions, but that December kind of line when you see Daniel Jones is back moves up a little bit. And I said yesterday my prediction is around week 6, that last week of October, middle of October. That's my prediction. Where are you at with the Brian Branch thing? Do you think he gets back way earlier than that December kind of initial date that Dan Campbell threw out there in the past?
No doubt about it, Booner. And I'll say this, when you first linked up with Jeff, many people messaged me and said, man, Booner's stock is way down. He's holding back Hefe. And over the years, I do want to give you credit. Your stock is through the roof as well. You've turned yourself into a bright, insightful analyst on par with Hefe. I don't never reply to any of those messages. I just listened to it and said, support the fellas. That's why I go on there. You guys are on the same page, and your stock is rising. And you just made a very astute comment. I think the timeline, marvels of modern medicine, make it so that you can push up the timeline a little bit. But I'm very much in line with the cautious approach. Take your time, slowly acclimate. Get back on the field. Look at, to see, the timeline of Patrick Mahomes throwing the football after an ACL. It's totally different. If I blew out my Achilles, I'd be out for the next 2 years. These guys are highly trained athletes. These are things that now are being advanced at a high level. But the biggest question mark is going to be when he gets back on the field, can he cut at the same level of precision that he needs to be physical? Maybe he has to make a couple slight adjustments. Remember, players come back. It's never going to be really career threatening, but it's going to be, can he play at the highest level to be an all-pro? And so all you got to do is look for the clues, okay? It's going to take time. Everybody's different. But you should be a little bit optimistic with Brian Branch. He's talented, hardworking, wants to prove people wrong. But at the same, I wanted to say at the same token, but some people don't like that phrase. But by and large, when you see the team, when you explore what happened, they made moves to safeguard just in case his game takes a little time. If there's any setback, you got Clark and Izian, and you have a chance to have some depth there at safety. So in my Lone Wolves position on the podcast and on the website, I did a position ranking, and I got the safety group really ranked high. I'm very comfortable with what they did. I feel like even though without Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, there's a little bit of veteran presence that will allow you to feel a little comfortable, give those guys time, patience. But, we're just talking with Kirby and Brian. We want to see the best unit out there in the world. And with Kirby, it is, like I said, the reason why people are a little bit more antsy is you have professionals saying, if this is a cartilage issue, it may get to the point where he can play 1 or 2 games, but the pain may eventually become an issue. And that's all we're saying is we're just looking at the what ifs. And the what ifs are very concerning. And you just can't tell people, calm down. I thought the messaging was a little bit poor from a lot of people where you go, oh, he's on the PUP list, and people are like, calm down, he could be off of it tomorrow. Well, that doesn't really align with common sense. So when people say calm down, that really means maybe take a closer look.
Hey, Doc, I want to ask you about the secondary, but more specifically the cornerback room. Dan was asked about it, and he mentioned, Roger McCreary and Keith Abney maybe moving outside. I know we've had that conversation before, but, he threw out there Ennis Rakestraw. I know we keep bringing up how the secondary is terrifying, but Dan's answer about how they kind of handle the TA situation and how they feel pretty good about who's in the room and guys are going to have to step up. How did that make you feel to hear from Dan about that room and really maybe the possibility that Keith Abney gets slotted outside and plays him outside this year?
Yeah, well, look, how wild is that just before waiting for the lovely email to come on, I already know what's been happening at camp. How is that possible? I'm supposed to be out of commission, out of order. I already know. Guys, guess what? Let's start the stock rise. Stock up, Nick Whiteside. He had himself a blessed day today. He had himself a good day without the pads on. Ennis Rakestraw had a nice potential pass breakup, but Amon-Ra made a great play. So, look, I think one takeaway you're going to see now from the rest of the group today is the cornerback competition is wide open. Rock Ya-Sin, it's not his job. It's not his job right away. Ennis Rakestraw could come out of this as somebody that could win the job. And I think I'm hopeful that he can win the job. And I know everybody's going to say, well, he's got to stay healthy. So I'm hoping that the good Lord keeps him healthy and he can compete. But Nick Whiteside also has now declared himself ready for the competition. He had a good day. You're going to read reports about him all throughout the day. And I can't wait because guess what? J-Mo had a big highlight. The team will obviously highlight that, and that'll be out there today too. So that's good. J-Mo, Nick Whiteside had themselves a day. Stock up for those two guys early.
Let's go, Waymo.
Training. Yeah, let's go, J-Mo. That's what you want to see. Day one, make a big catch. Amon-Ra St. Brown, always legend. And so to me, look, the cornerback room is a big question mark. I had them ranked, I think, 11th out of the 11 position groups. So I'm not as high based on their overall ceiling, but let's see what happens. And if you can see some development from Nick Whiteside and Ennis Rakestraw, and they can actually produce in the regular season, that will be a huge relief for a lot of people because most people are skeptical. I heard on your airwaves, and a lot of people are skeptical that the cornerback room can step up. So if DJ Reed also elevates his game, maybe that the concerns are overblown. But at the same time, concerns are normal because you look at it and you can always say at the NFL level, you can always say the Lions could have done better. And that is egregious, in my opinion. You should go into training camp with the best possible talent for the best possible competition. I think it's just fair to say the Lions could have did more to draft a higher. This was a deep class. This was a deep cornerback class. So I don't just sit back and go, well, Keith Abney's going to step in as a fifth rounder and dominate. You got to see it over the course of a couple days and a couple weeks.
Hey, one thing I want to actually bring up because I think it's getting kind of overlooked because of the Jahmyr Gibbs contract conversation. Sam Laporta also is due an extension too. He's going into the final year of his deal. I saw reports today he spoke to the media as well and talking about how he feels like he's fully back to where he was before the back injury. What are your thoughts on kind of that contract situation too? Because there were reports about a month or so ago that said that they're working on getting a deal done with Sam Laporta, and that's another contract that they want to do. What do you think happens with that situation, Doc? Even though I know the Gibbs thing is kind of the number one priority, I'm sure that seems to also be an option here for the Lions this offseason is to get that done.
Yeah, and Sam's on an expired. He's his last year of the deal.
Final deal. Final year.
Yeah. Yeah,
same with Brian.
I take the wait and see approach. I want to see a couple games, and unfortunately, just based on the numbers being thrown around, maybe if Bijan is actually thinking like Booner's thinking, he wants 22. That's the one problem. That's the other side of the coin is you want to rush to get it done from the Lions side because if you wait, maybe Bijan starts to get some juicy numbers, and then Gibbs will just be like, wow, he got 22, I need 23. So there's the give and take of waiting versus not waiting. So it could become costly if you're the Lions to not get it done. But I wait on him and Branch. And here's the thing, and it's never a perfect analogy, but you look at it and you say to yourself, I wish the Lions had more funds where if a player, maybe it's not Vita Vea, but right now if a Vita Vea or a Denzel Ward came available, which potentially they might have been. But, you hear Vita Vea wants to be on the West Coast, and that sucks because all the great teams are out there. But you realize you couldn't do it. You couldn't bring in a Denzel Ward. You couldn't fill that hole because you're paying your own. I just want to be able to do that. Like, hey, bring in – and if things would have worked out differently, maybe you don't pay Aleem McNeil that big money. Maybe you don't pay Kirby Joseph. Maybe you have $60 million in cap space available, and boom, you could have added this offseason maybe to cap it off. You could have added a Denzel Ward and a Vita Vea, and now you make that all-in push. Now, it's never a one-to-one, the exact contracts at the exact times, but it's the theory that you're a little bit handcuffed when good players are available. But again, Vita Vea wants a massive extension, and you don't want to pay a 32-year-old. But in terms of any player, if any player comes available that's in that premium range, the Lions are a little bit handcuffed because they trust their own. I trust Brad Holmes in terms of the players he's brought as draft picks for the most part. Now he's had a bad stretch over the last couple years, but bottom line, the area of biggest weakness for this team and why the team has struggled the last 2 years, why we still have depth questions is some of the draft picks haven't worked out, but the evaluations at the pro personnel level in free agency haven't been good enough. So I just wish that you could pluck players and just be able to say, hey, I want him to be affordable, but we have to always look at the salary cap because the Lions are looking to invest in Sam Laporta and Brian Branch. But I would wait no sooner than October for either Branch or Laporta, but they're going to get done because you saw just how crazy bad the offense went south when Laporta was gone. He's a key blocker, and he's going to make life easier for Jahmyr Gibbs. But I just want to see him block for a month. No blocking, no contract. So I want to see him block for a month, and if he holds up, gets the big money.
Well, speaking of blocking, Doc, Christian Mahogany's out right now. He's expected to be back, but just in that competition with the left guard spot, we were having this conversation the other day just about that competition. I know we've talked about it a lot, but really looking at the competitors in that room with Miles Frazier, Ben Barch, do you really how deep are we going to get into training camp or preseason with that battle, or do you think Mahogany kind of seals it earlier than expected?
Yeah, it was interesting. Some reports came out that saw because, of course, Mahogany starts on an injury list. Of course, not what we wanted to see. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Juice Scruggs was filling in for that spot, and some people were surprised. I wasn't. I told you all that Juice Scruggs was going to play along any of the interior spots: center, right guard, left guard. He's I think the primary fill. I mean, if you write in print that you're surprised that a guy you traded for is versatile, and you thought he's only going to be at one spot, you haven't been paying attention or something. The Lions like positional versatility. They've only been telling you that for the last 6 years. But Juice Scruggs was out there and Ben Bartch. It'll be a nice competition. I can't wait to see it. But in the end, I think most of us believe that Christian Mahogany will win the battle, but can he stay on the field? You know, that's one of those deals where he's kind of starting the year off and on these lists, and it could be slipping away just that quick. And if he does slip away, I do think the competition could be tight between Juice Scruggs and Ben Bartch. It was good to see Ben Bartch's name printed. He showed up. He arrived. But I'm putting out an APB. We got to see Tyler Conklin's photo, but still on the pup list. I can't wait to, nobody wants to ask about Tyler Conklin. Is he a figment of everybody's imagination? Luckily, we saw one photo of him at the facility, but we still don't know what's wrong with him. Hello, Tyler, if you're out there, just tell us what's wrong with you. Knee, ankle, back, sprain. What the heck happened at the spring? We're trying to find out, but seems like the roadblocks are set up for the doc not to find out. But I'll keep poking around maybe later today. I got a lot of free time.
Well, good stuff today, Doc. You see, look, there's no drop-off. The guy just brings it. He's great. We appreciate you, and we're always going to be loyal to you, Doc, no matter what. We appreciate you so much. Now that Doc is crushing it on YouTube, or he's been crushing it, but he's now full-time crushing with the reporting, and on top of that, giving his opinion, go check out Detroit Lions on SI. He does a great job. Doc, we'll talk to you next Wednesday, my friend.
I look forward to it, and if anybody's going to tell me to calm down, there's only two voices in the Detroit media community that I'll respect to listen and maybe think about it, and that's you two guys. Thanks for sticking with me. And remember, Big Dick Doc ain't going anywhere. Peace.
All right. We won't call you that, but respect
Big Doc. He's killing it. Big Dick DeQuinder. I don't know what he's on today.
I'm not calling him that.
But that's why we love him. We'll go to break. We come back. We'll continue. We got Dan's comments. We talked about the secondary. We'll talk about Kirby Joseph. A lot of things to get to. But first, what do we got, Caleb?
Let's double up here. Booner, tell us about Mortgage Pros.
Let me tell you guys about Mortgage Pros. If you guys are looking for a career upgrade, check out Mortgage Pros, the #1 mortgage broker to work for in the state of Michigan. We saw their incredible company culture at their block party, and their team, they truly love what they do. They have 4.9 stars and over 4,000 reviews. You see it on the screen there on Google. And if you're looking for a new job, give Mortgage Pros in Troy a call at 248-416-1361. Mortgage Pros, let the pros handle it.
And if you're looking to add some Detroit style to your next catering event, Buddy's Pizza is the place to go. Home-style pizza, or home-style pasta, signature salads, award-winning pizza. It's the best in town. Save 20% on your next catering order of $200 or more with promo code Woodward20. Visit buddyspizza.com/catering to view their complete menu and place your order today.
Neil Rule and Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
I hate to tell you, energy drinks, but you're about to be crushed. Thrive nootropic energy pouches are here to change the game by delivering steady, focused performance in a clean white pouch for a fraction of the cost. And unlike other brands, Thrive comes from an American company that's been leading the way for over 30 years. So stop drinking gut rot energy drinks and why don't you thrive for a change? It's just better.
Dan Campbell is in redemption mode.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And Woodward Sports is here to cheer on the Detroit Lions every snap. Don't miss a moment of Detroit Lions coverage. Follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms now.
Woodward Sports. Let's go. All right, we are excited to welcome Icon Auto Repair and Collision to the Woodward Sports family, guys. If you've been in an accident or your vehicle needs repairs, make sure you trust the team at Icon Auto Repair and Collision. They have 3 convenient Metro Detroit locations: Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac, and they've got you covered. They offer free car loaners and offer to pay your deductible as well. Visit iconauto.com. It's the Icon that you can count on.
And then Supreme Lending.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Supreme Lending. Making a massive decision like buying a home or refinancing, you got to go with the professionals, and that is Chris and Chad at Supreme Lending. 99% close-on time rate, 97% customer satisfaction score. Mention Woodward Sports, and you will receive up to $500 off your appraisal. To score the deal, call the numbers on your screen. Talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today. We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. We just got done talking to Detroit Lions and SI's own John McAroon, our good friend, to talk training camp, obviously Jahmyr Gibbs. And there's a lot of stuff Dan said today that we weren't able to get to. And we're going to get to it now. There's a lot. And I do want to start with some of the Kirby Joseph comments. And he's been on a roll on social media. Not just Twitter, but he posted the video of him. We have it on all of our socials, official CT Sports, Woodward Sports, him basically out training camp doing his thing. Let's play the clip of Dan Campbell talking about it, and then we'll react to it. But here's Dan Campbell talking about that Kirby Joseph injury.
You want just the Kirby one?
I say just play them both.
Yeah, play them both.
Play them both back-to-back, because at the end he talks about Kirby and the other one as well.
All right, this first one is Dan Campbell on
the injuries.
All of the injuries.
Yep. Branch is doing well. His will be obviously PUP. There's no setbacks. Take it as it comes, and we'll see. I'm sure late training camp, maybe early September, he can start practicing. We'll see. But he's doing well. Who else? Izzy just had a little flu bug. We're going to make sure he's good to go. Hopefully by Friday we get him in practice here. Mahogany needs a couple of days, and then he'll be ready. Who else? Oh, Conklin. Conklin's going to probably be about 2 weeks here, somewhere in there. He's running. He got a little calf back in the spring. We're hopeful. No setbacks. We're trying to be smart with him, but hopefully get him back as soon as possible so we can get some reps on him. Am I missing anybody? I think that's it, right?
Kirby, is it what is sort of the plan of when you want to get him out or when you think you need to get him out before camp to give him that balance of getting ready, but seeing seeing how much he can do?
Well, I've already, to me, if we got him back for the first game, that would be a bonus. I mean, that would be whoa, okay, I don't expect that. I'm not looking for that. I feel like he's more on the branch plan a little bit. And that's if everything goes well and everything goes according to plan with him and we got everything on our side. But he's doing well. Kirby, everything that I told you in the spring still applies to that. We've been working to this, but we're still in this. Okay, he's running on ground, man. We're starting to change of direction, some of this, but we're not going to grind this for another 2 or 3 weeks, man. So I cannot give you a true answer. He's working his tail off. He's not really had a vacation. He's been here with our guys busting his tail. So he's putting in the work. He feels pretty good right now. But we got a long way to go, and there is still an unknown. But I like where he's at. We like where he's at.
Wow. The ending there, Dan's like, I like where he's at, we like where he's at, but he's kind of on the Brian Branch plan. Hinted at he'll probably miss week 1, it feels like.
I think they're expecting him not to be ready for week 1.
Expecting him not to be ready for week 1, which, again, I will continue to say what I've been saying. If he's not ready by week 1, how are people supposed to be confident he will be ready? And even if he is ready, what does that look like?
Right.
Now that he's dealing with this, it seems like a permanent knee issue at this point. I don't know. To be on the Brian Branch plan and you were hurt before him and Branch tore his Achilles, which is the longest recovery time for one of those. We were talking ACL or Achilles. Achilles is one of the more tender, hey, we got to be very cautious with this injury, and Kirby is on the same plan as him. And to be honest with you, I don't even think that's the case. I think Branch is in a different category. I think Branch, they talked about Branch, like the way Dan talked about Branch is he could be ready by the end of training camp.
Right.
Like, could be practicing, not ready, but practicing, which is really good, by the way. If he's practicing at the end of training camp or week 1, then he probably needs a couple weeks to get ready, which he would be then on the timeline we talked about, which is a couple games in the season, he's ready to go. And maybe he has to shake the rust off, but Kirby seems like it's much more of a serious issue. And for Dan to say, hey, the same thing I said in the spring applies to now, that's concerning. Like, that ain't reading between the lines. That's just reacting to what your head coach is saying.
Yeah, the two things, like the two quotes from today, and I guess people are like still like, oh, just trust in Kirby, it's going to be fine. Even Kirby's posting, we're going to play in a second. But, like, the two things from Dan is, one, him being like he's on the Brian Branch plan. Brian Branch tore his Achilles in December. He tore his Achilles in December. Kirby Joseph got hurt, and his last game was in October. Like, his Achilles was after. Like, you would think that he has had more time to recover for a knee injury. That's not even a surgery. You don't even have to get surgery. And that, like, to me, that's concerning. And then also, too, the second part of that is Dan being like, there's still an unknown. Guys, like, what are we doing here? Like, this conversation's over until we see the guy on the football field. And I don't want to hear anything anymore until he's on the football field.
Yeah, they need to stop asking
with today's like medical science, to say unknown isn't that they don't know what the diagnosis is. It's they don't know how he'll manage it.
They have no clue.
They know what it is, or at least they have an inkling of what it is. It's not that that's the unknown. The unknown is how can he progress with it, or how does he play or manage the pain with it.
And it's
that's
the fact
concern.
Too, he came back last year for practice in December thinking that he was good to go. And then there was that unknown of, oh, boom, I don't know. No, he can't go. And then you get into OTA, still not ready to go. Now you're getting into training camp, still not ready to go.
Notice a trend.
There's the unknown of, like, what's going on with this knee. Oh, it feels good now because he hasn't been playing on it. But then as soon as he starts playing on it, I think, Jeff, you said it earlier in the show, how does it react? How does the knee react? How does it recover after playing on it for a week?
Yeah, where we are right now is there's no recovery. Like, there's no, like, oh, he'll get back to 100%. There is none of that.
No timetable.
There's none of that. What it is can Kirby manage the pain? That's where we're at. And that's why I said on the show a couple days ago that I fear his career's over. Like, that's why I said that, because I don't know if he can manage the pain. It's not about him getting back to Kirby Joseph, and playing. That's out of the equation. The Neal's never going to be 100% again. That's a fact. I mean, that's been already reported about what the injury is, and we had Dr. Jimmy Liao, and it's not even about him not knowing the medicals. That's just people in the field that understand what the injury is, like bone to bone. There's no like 100%. That's out the window. It's just how does Kirby react to it? And of course, Dan's going to say like he's feeling good. He's trying to. That's the PR side of like he feels good. We feel good. So people are going to be like, oh, there you go. It's like, no, guys, he is never going to be 100%. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
So, like, if he can play and manage the pain, that's one thing. But, like, the question is, how long can he do that for before he just says, this is too much. It's too much. I can't play through it. And, are you missing games here or there? Or is there stretches of football where he's just absent? I don't know. And that's, when you talk about the safety room, like, I still feel way better about Brian Branch with his Achilles injury than I do Kirby. That's why, like, I still feel like Brian should be extended. I have full confidence he'll be back and he'll look fine. I don't think there's going to be this massive fall off for Brian Branch, but man, like the Kirby stuff is a permanent injury, it sounds like, and I don't know what I expected to hear from Dan today. I'm not even saying Dan's at fault for anything. He's just being honest. But like actually hearing it is one thing too, and that just sucks, dude. It just sucks that you're never going to get Kirby Joseph at 100%.
It feels like they don't like obviously like Dan. He's like it's still it's uncertain. Like they don't even know. Like no one knows.
They don't.
And that's I think the biggest concern is that it's just so up in the air. The only person that thinks that he knows is Kirby Joseph, but everyone else is like no one knows. So like, can we play the Kirby videos by the way?
Yeah.
Can we play the one of him talking first? Because I want to talk about like that, and then I guess the other one by the way we have to mute the one of him running because of the music. Just a heads up.
Yeah, here's the one he posted on his Instagram story.
When you see me, just know all I do is fucking work. I don't give a fuck what nobody else say. All I do is grind, baby. That's all I motherfucking know. That's how I got to this motherfucker right here. Y'all ass all in my motherfucking business. Y'all ass don't know shit.
He He ain't messing around.
I love Kirby as a human. He's just an interesting human being. He just does whatever the hell he wants.
He's just real.
Yeah, he's
raw, bro.
He's raw. Like he
raw,
just does whatever the hell he wants. So like, I mean, he's on Twitter. He's posting the stories and stuff. And I mean, as you got to think in Kirby Joseph's position, like, how frustrating it must be. Like, there's a reason why Doc came on and said, like, he looks frustrated in the locker room at times, like, because he's frustrated with his injury, man. Like,
Right.
He's got to be frustrating for a guy who's on basically a Hall of Fame trajectory, dealing with now a permanent knee injury.
On top of that, he sees all of this. Like, he see people talking about him. He gets the questions constantly and every day. So I do understand the human element of this. But I do kind of wish that, you know, he would probably just stay off of socials for a minute, bro, and just let people speculate.
So,
it's okay to let people speculate.
Yeah. So I told you guys I had something. He needs to, someone in his circle, someone in that coaching staff, someone in the front office, someone has to tell Kirby Joseph, hey, cut it out. Like, you're done. And I get it. Like, people should be able to have media. You can say what you want, all of that. It's at the point, like, today's day one of training camp. Like, you're taken away from your team at this point. I'm sorry. Like, I'll say that. Like, the news of your team back at training camp, obviously the Jahmyr Gibbs story is the story, but, like, dude, you're posting while your team's practicing. Like, they're out at practice, and you're tweeting at fans and media, and you're like, what are we doing?
That's an agent thing.
Like, you have to knock this off. I'm sorry. I'm not. And KG was joking around before. He was like, "Are we like to shut up and dribble?" I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But at some point, someone has to tell Kirby, "Hey, dude, get off social. Like, delete the apps. Get out."
Yeah.
No, like, I'm being dead
I
serious.
feel you. I feel
Get
you.
the apps off your phone.
It's not helping.
Stop tweeting. Stop posting the videos. Like, you're posting these videos. You're posting them while your team is literally practicing. Like, there are tweets going out while your team's practicing. What are we doing? At some point, like it's big. Like, this is a team, an organization. Like, give the credit. Like, hey, if I'm Kirby, it's like, hey, man, I'm going to get back to help the team out. End of story. That's it. But, like, going at media, going at fans, going at different people while your team's literally out there practicing, like, come on, man. And I don't want to see any of this stuff. Like, and I get it. Like, it's hard on players. Like, something like this, it's tough. But, man, like, you're posting this stuff. Like, don't post until you're back on the football field or something. I don't know. But I'm kind of tired of seeing it. I really am. We're a week into this thing with Kirby, like, mass tweeting at people and all this stuff. And, again, today, to me, it was like the final straw of, like, dude, the media's at Allen Park. Practice is going on. Players are talking to media. And guess what the talk of the town is? It's Kirby Joseph going crazy on Instagram and on Twitter again. Like, let's talk about the team. Are you guys going to win a Super Bowl this year? What's the offense look like? What's the defense look like? Hey, Kirby, instead of doing all this, talk to the people about Thomas Harper. How's Thomas Harper looking? How's this player looking? How's this looking? You're taking everything away from what is actually going on with the football team and not football and the Lions and your teammates, and it's like all about you right now. That's how I look at this. I don't know if I'm the only one that gets that vibe or that feeling, but it's like all about him.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get from all of this. It's like, hey, I get it. You're going through it. Like, I feel bad. Delete the apps. Stop tweeting. Get out of it. I'm tired of seeing it. I am.
Yeah, no,
I personally
I feel
am.
you.
Dude.
I think that's a tad extreme.
How? Why?
I think he's just being emotional right now, bro. Because
someone needs to get him off of it.
Yeah, I get it, bro. But it's easier said than done, bro. When you going through something that literally can affect your career, and then you hearing all the outside noise on top of that, he has nothing but time. He's injured. He's hearing all this shit. It can get to you. I do understand it, but I do agree with you. He shouldn't be doing this because you have nothing to gain from it.
Well, ETN in the chat says he's on that Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, it's not that bad, y'all. Relax, y'all.
Brandon Ayuk.
Relax, y'all.
Yeah, by the way, Xavier is like,
bad.
Booner, thanks for policing speech for everyone. He's pumping himself up. He's working like a dog to get back. You shut up. Guys, if he was just pumping himself up, fine. He's doing way more than that. Like, it's like over that point now. It's like you're going at media, you're going at fans, you're going at all these different people. It's like, hey, if you were boosting yourself up, posting videos of you working out, like, I'm getting back, okay. But, like, it's taken away from what's actually going on with this team, it feels like, at this point. Like, they're at training camp working right now, and your team's practicing, and you're out here, like, posting your videos and stuff and, like, quote tweeting people and, like, it just mass tweeting out. Like, I'm not that crazy for this. This isn't like me telling him to shut
I
up.
don't think you
It's
totally
literally
off.
just being like, hey, man, like take a step back for a second.
Yeah.
Like it's becoming too much you when there's a team out there practicing today while you're doing all this. You guys see what I'm saying?
No, you're not totally off, no.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, KG, me and you talked about it yesterday before the show, too. Like, I think he's just emotional, and I do feel bad for him because it's like he's been doing, like this is what we talked about yesterday. He's been playing football every day for his life for the past a bazillion years, his entire life.
Absolutely.
And that basically just has gotten stripped away from him. And, with a really serious injury that he knows himself probably that could be career ending. But KG, you brought it up earlier that he sees all of the media. I'm going to play this video right now of Kirby. Look at the caption of the video on this one. This is Kirby Joseph. I think he just put this on his Instagram.
Who the F is this Dr. Jimmy, is what he said. Shout out Jimmy Leo.
We know
shout
Jimmy.
out, dog.
Yeah, hey, at least I will say this, like Jim again, and Jimmy did a great job of making it clear that he doesn't have the medicals. He's just giving his professional opinion.
Right.
But you got to not every injury is the same, but you kind of know though, like if this is a bone-to-bone issue, it's permanent. And again, Kirby, you're running, you look good. We'll see how this trends or how this ages. But at the end of the day, for most part, with people that suffer this injury, it usually isn't good long term. So, as much as I love the optimism, and I'm not trying to if Kirby can play his career with the Detroit Lions,
It'd be awesome.
It's in all of our best interests. He's one of my favorite players to cover. I don't want a guy who's on a Hall of Fame trajectory to go anywhere. Okay, I don't want that. But the reality of it is that injury it might just be too significant. And my biggest thing to watch this year, among a lot of other things, is the Kirby Joseph stuff. Like how can he play through this? How can he manage the pain? That's where I'm going to be most interested because again, his career, whether his career continues or not, is a massive deal. If you lose Kirby and he medically retires, it's a disaster for the Detroit Lions. Players like Kirby do not grow on trees. So, man, the best interest for the Detroit Lions and for me, someone who covers them, is for him to get healthy and be able to play football forever, for a long time.
Yeah, again.
So, I'm really praying.
I think we all want Kirby to play.
Yeah,
and people in the chat are going to go at me and be like, Booner, you're an idiot. I'm not saying shut up and play football. Don't care if you can say, I love the fact that he can say stuff. It gets to a point. And we all want him to play, right? We all want him on the football field. None of us are we don't want Kirby on the football field. We all do. We all do.
You just think it would be in his best interest to not keep
just get off social media.
That's it.
It's gotten to a certain point to where, again, the reason I broke this morning about it, and I'm like, come on, dude. It's because your team is literally on the football field practicing and speaking to media, and you're just mass tweeting while this is happening. At the same exact time. Do it later in the day. Media's at the facility and you're just out here tweeting at them. At that point it just becomes a little too much. That's all it is. Dude, take a step back, delete the app, relax, focus on getting back on the football field. That in my mind, that's what it is. It's dude, put all of your focus on getting back. I want Kirby on the field. I do. Put all your effort into that, dude.
Hey, by the way, do we have any I know we have super chats coming in, Caleb.
Yeah, we do. We have a few. Let's see. We have quite a few. One from just a fan. Did we get this $2? Just $2 to bring back Mass.
Shout out.
There
we go. Shad with the $4.99. He says, bring back LeGarrette Blount. Get rid of that fraud running back Gibbs.
Oh, my God.
LeGarrette Blount's crazy,
That's
by the
insane.
way. Yeah, shout out to Shad. He donated another one. He donated another one just now, $5. What are you doing being hopeful? Your team is out there practicing. You're supposed to be in a cabin having an existential crisis?
It's just while your team's working, you're just going crazy on social media. To me, that's crazy.
And then base Gyron. Sorry if I said that wrong. For the $5, he said, trade that fraud Gibbs to Minnesota. We can get a real running back that doesn't quit like Aaron Jones instead of paying a quitter.
He said like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is hurt every year.
Yeah.
So I'll even go that far.
I think
relax,
he maybe was joking there. And then Tev Sauce, shout out for the 5. He said, Conklin 2 weeks with a calf he suffered in the spring. Listen, Doc, goofy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that is. I'm curious to see when Conklin gets back. I know he had the calf. I'm not too worried about it. I think he'll be ready for the season, though.
Yeah.
But at least we know now what it was. The calf was bothering him, so he'll be fine. Danny G, I don't get how this is only his fault. It takes 2 to tango. Hold the media members accountable for coming at him as well.
Who was that?
Kirby.
Well, no, and what people don't understand, it's like the media's job to report when stuff like comes out.
Yeah.
So it's like that's our job, right? Is to like give opinions. Like someone in the chat said, you don't telling Gibbs to pay his or to sign his contract and Kirby to shut up. Like, no, it's our job to have the opinions. Hey, this is what he should do. That's our job. That's literally our job to report when he's posting. That's what it is. So you can't be like media members are going at him. No, it's our job to respond and talk about it.
And by the way, he has a full obligation to respond to that. You know,
sure,
like he can respond to anything. He has full do whatever the hell you want.
It's his life.
The thing I would say to what you're saying is like he was responding to people just speculating with the knee injury and going at those people. Like it's unfair to speculate over basically a potential career-ending injury. Like, no, people are going to talk about your injury, bro. Like, it's very concerning.
Or maybe it's not career-ending and we don't know shit, but it's just the point that we don't know anything. I'm kind of in the Booner point of, okay, let's stop asking Dan about this, because every single time that they have asked him this over this whole offseason since he got injured, all the answers are the same. They don't know anything. And it's just there's no timetable for a return. So at this point, he's going to be gone for a while, and he's probably gonna miss some time this year. I think it's fair to say.
Do you guys think that it's frustrating too, like for Dan in the front office? Like, and listen, we don't know anything, but I look at it as an example here at Woodward. Like, if we had like a host or someone who was like hurt or something when he's not on the air, and then is like going out there and tweeting and being like, "I bet I'm gonna be back on Monday," and it's like we're all like, "No, you're not," and like Stick and Joey are like, "No, you're not." And then they're not back Monday, and then they're like tweeting through it, like saying stuff, going at it with fans. And it's like we're all going to be like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you know you're not going to be back. Why are you out there tweeting and doing this stuff? It's just an exemplified level as a Lions player of you doing that. And you would think like the front office is like, dude, what are you doing? And that's the point to KG that you brought up. It's like we keep getting asked these questions, and we're going to keep getting asked these questions, and it should not be like this should not be the questions being asked right now, because we have a football team that needs to go try and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we're answering questions on a hurt player that keeps posting and keeps putting videos out and keeps going at it with fans and media. Like, listen, I'm not saying people in the chat you could be like Booner, you're going at Kirby, telling him to shut. No, it's like. It's just like a little bit of a distraction of the actual football team and the actual football and the players that are out there on the field right now that are trying to get this thing to that next level. That's my point. And that's why, again, I get mad today when I see it and I go, dude, they're practicing. They're out there. They're working. Like, let's talk Jared Goff. Let's talk the team. Let's like this. And we're having this conversation about a player that's going out there and just mass blowing up Twitter. And, like, that's the point where it's like, can we just get over this? Can we stop it? Like, stop telling fans to bet on when you're going to be back.
Let's take a break. We come back, we'll talk about the secondary as well. We haven't even talked about his comments on that. What do we got, Caleb?
Let's double up here. Let's start with Mad Packs.
All right, let's go to Mad Packs. And Mad Packs has a good way to relax, actually, with their new line of gummies. They got the Boom Shakalaka 200 milligram hash rosin gummies and the Hilo 200 milligram live resin gummies. You want to check out those pre-rolls as well, too. They're pretty good. But alongside the new products as well, the Mad Packs extracts and Blizzard Packs, pre-roll flour, they got it all. So make sure you go to getmadpacks.com today. Don't waste time. Mad flavor, mad high, Mad Packs.
And let me tell you guys about Art and Jake's. Nothing beats Tigers baseball like great food and an ice-cold drink. Join us for another Detroit Tigers watch party on Thursday, August 6th, as the Tigers take on the Seattle Mariners. We'll be live at Art and Jake's in Washington Township starting at 4:10 p.m. for all the action. Plus, you have to be there for your chance to win Tigers tickets courtesy of Founders Brewing Company. We'll be giving away 2 sets of 2 tickets live during the watch party. You don't want to miss that out on that. Again, that is on August 6th, Seattle versus the Detroit Tigers. It's Art and Jake's sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Yaldo Eye Center, the professionals that have to do with LASIK eye surgery, which, guys, like glasses and contacts, pain in the you-know-what. And LASIK eye surgery can definitely help that. And the professionals at Yaldo Eye Center with 30 years of experience and 100,000 procedures, they are the people you could trust. It's completely painless, takes just 8 minutes, and most patients are seeing 20/20 the very next day. Take advantage of their summer promotion. Just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. It's a one-time investment that'll save you thousands of dollars on glasses and contacts in the long run. Wake up with clear vision. Book your consultation with Yaldo Eye Center at yaldoeyecenter.com/1699.
And then, KG, tell us about Loom.
I will tell the people about Loom Cannabis Company, and aside from the great marijuana products that they have, they also got these buzzing energy drinks that are in, and listen, it's the same buzzings that we all know and love, 7.5 milligrams of pure THC, but they paired that with 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea extract, and they got it in a lot of different flavors, peach and raspberry lemonade, and you can get it at all 40 locations across the state of Michigan. All you gotta do is go to loom.com to learn more, and also while you're there shopping, take 30% off your entire order by using code WSN30 at checkout. It's Loom Cannabis.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. If you're watching, we appreciate you for sticking with us. Hit the like button on the stream. We'll get those likes up. We got more to get to. Dan Campbell spoke about the secondary. I do want to play that because he did mention some names. Keith Abney, Roger McCreary, Ennis Rakestraw, all kind of moving around, playing outside, playing inside at nickel. And we'll talk about his answer because he was asked about the TA situation, and I think he did a good job kind of dodging that one completely. But let's hear from him about the secondary, and then we'll talk about it.
With filling that spot and some of the guys you got as far as filling that secondary?
No, we're fired up. Look, it's why we got Rock back. We went and got McCrary. We knew we'd get Rake back off injury. We drafted Abney. Certainly Dorse is back. So, Ironsides is back. We feel pretty good in that room of the competition and those guys between veterans, young guys, and ability.
There's Dan Campbell talking about that secondary. Do you have the clip?
One, Kip?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got.
Let's play the one with Ennis Rakestraw. This is the big one. Let's hear from Dan on that.
All right, give me 1 sec here. All right, here we go.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Abney and McCreary.
Yep.
Does the plan change at all with them? I know you've talked about the ability to flex outside. Is there an early camp plan to maybe see what you got there, just in light of shifting personnel at the cornerback?
Well, they will take some outside reps. McCreary's played out. Look, so does Abney in college. Now I know he just stepped into our building, but they'll take some of those outside. But we still want to, let them sink their teeth into some of this nickel. And look, we're going to let Rakestraw take a little nickel too on some of this stuff and see where it is. But all those guys got to be prepared to go outside. The guys we know who will stay outside right now are Reed and Rock, and then those other guys need to be able to, let's see if they can do some stuff inside. Yes, sir.
It seems like the staff has been pretty steadfast that he's an outside corner. Just what have you seen from him in your first 2 years that makes you think that that's where he will stick eventually?
Well, there again, the injury, just kind of the injury history with him has not allowed us to really see everything that he can do. But we know that's where he banked a lot of reps in college, was outside. He's got excellent feet, his hips, his change of direction. He's got ball skills. He can track the ball down the field. So there's just things that he's got about him, and there's a natural ability to him that you feel like is conducive to playing outside, and that's probably where he'll have most of his time. But yet, let's see what he can do inside too. Look, he's going into year 3. Although he hasn't banked a ton of reps, it's just, man, you begin to mature and you grow, and we feel like just from what he is internally, I'm not talking about the football player, but just you mature, you grow, you learn, and so we're pretty excited for him this camp to see what he's got.
It wouldn't be Detroit Lions training camp if we didn't get hype about Ennis Rakestraw. I mean, it just wouldn't.
Caleb, stand up.
It's the time of the
moment,
year,
boy.
What we get to see. Is this the year?
Put it up.
We get Rake Island.
Hey,
is this the year that Ennis Rakestraw shows out? Now, I will say Keith Abney, Roger McCreary getting reps outside would be interesting. They have been consistent with the versatility, with their DBs, so that does not surprise me. It's not some breaking news. Like Ennis at nickel, we've heard that discussion as well. I think the one I'm paying attention to no one's surprise, is Keith Abney on the outside, because he did play it in college as well. I get worried maybe about the size thing. He is not the biggest guy, so maybe that would be where people get a little more, whoa. But there's no denying that he is, in terms of ceiling, more talented than Rock Ya-Sin, in terms of ability.
Yeah. Can he get there, though?
Can he get there? But also, he's physically, Rock is just built to be a corner, an outside corner. He's a 6'1", bigger, stronger. He played with the Lions last year. He's got experience. He's a veteran.
Yep.
Obviously, Keith has all the odds against him because he's a rookie. He's smaller. To have DJ Reed already out there, to have Keith, it's probably not ideal, but definitely Keith Abney I'm going to be paying attention to playing outside.
Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, I think Dan, the good thing about this, I know people don't want to hear it, but they are confident in those rooms, especially the corner one, and obviously they have to be confident. They have to throw that out there. But the Keith Abney, like you said, the fact too that they said that basically everyone's going to try outside, and then they're also going to try Ennis Rakestraw in the slot. They're trying things, right? And we can all be mad and pissed off that they didn't do anything after TA left and they haven't made those moves, or they might not have been prepared for it. But realistically, they felt like that they were prepared, keeping Rock Ya-Sin, Keith Abney, your guy Caleb, Ennis Rakestraw.
Yep.
So that's what you have right now. You're not getting any other backup. So you have to hope that these guys work together. The one thing he said today too, he's like, the big thing is you have to make sure they can play together very well. So getting them out there as early as possible, playing at a high level together, because if you don't have elite dudes, you have to be able to play as a team in the secondary. Yeah. And without Kirby right now, without Brian, you have to figure that out in the secondary with the safety room and the corners. I think the most interesting secondary piece going into this training camp is Ennis Rakestraw.
He's the X factor.
Yeah, because if he stays healthy, again, he's talented. There's a reason he was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
He's got the talent, the size. He has everything you need for kind of the position you want. Health-wise, can he do it? So I think that's going to be one of the biggest kind of storylines of this camp is, where is Ennis Rakestraw? Is he going to stay healthy? And then even after camp, if there are those things, because last year, TA, man, everyone was at TA had the best camp out of anyone. He's about to be a Pro Bowler. I fell for it. I said it. And then guess what? TA wasn't. And then when we get to the season, if Ennis has a good training camp, Caleb, I want to see it through a stretch of the season. Because if he goes in week 1 and then he goes out there and he gets hurt, gets hit once, and he's like, oh, no, my shoulder. That's tough.
That's not going to happen. And even the doc said he heard that Ennis Rakestraw had a good day one of training camp, which is very encouraging. But I'd like Ennis Rakestraw on the outside. That's like Dan said. That's where he's played in college. Obviously we haven't seen much of it in the NFL because he's been hurt. But I want to see him in that nickel spot too, because I bring it up all the time, and I know it feels like a million years ago, but his rookie training camp, he was fighting for that nickel position, and he looked really good. He's a good tackler, and you're going to need that at the nickel position. I think he could play on the boundary and at the nickel. So I'm excited to see what Ennis Rakestraw does for the rest of training camp. That's my guy. That's my guy.
Let's get to the O-line. He did speak about the O-line, and this is a big one too. Dan, he sounded pretty positive about the O-line. Let's you play the clip, Caleb. Let's hear what he had to say about this new O-line.
All right, my bad, Jeff. Here we go.
It's a good veteran group in some areas, but yet young guys that are unknown, unproven, they got an opportunity. So, yeah, I feel like what comes out of that room, those 5, is going to be better than what we had last year. Is going to be an upgrade, and not just a little. I believe that.
I'd love to hear that.
I do too. No doubt, they have an upgraded offensive line on paper. There's no doubt about it. They're much better than they are last year. Cade Mays is better than Graham. Tate's going to be better. Panay, we don't even have to mention him. Okay, we know what he is, all pro. Blake Miller, that's the one we got to find out. We got to see what does Blake Miller look like this year, and where does he start versus where does he finish? Like, how good can he be as a rookie? Yeah. And then also Chris Mahogany
to a degree.
That's the big one because inconsistent last year. Does he look like he did the year prior?
Can he stay healthy?
Or can he stay healthy? Does Ben Barch maybe compete? So there are some questions. My thing is not about the talent or the on-paper look. It's about just the chemistry and them actually playing together. That's where my concern has always been. I'll be consistent with it. I think this offensive line is better. I just don't think you see maybe the vision for this O-line until maybe midway through the season. You'll start to see it more often. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for this offensive line to kind of gel because the benefit the Lions had over the last couple of years is they had veterans that have played a lot of football together. Panay, Frank, Taylor, and then you had other guys. Even when Zeitler came in, they just had to slot a guy or two in there. All 5 of these guys have not played with the guy to their right or left yet. It's new, completely new.
Fair,
so it's going to take time for this offensive line, man. So be patient. It's better on paper, but be patient.
I do love the fact, though, that Dan was like, it's going to be way better.
Yeah.
Because it was so bad last year, that play was. And they all, like, Panay always talks about it, actually, which I love that Panay does. Is like there's an expectation in this O-line room. And it's like from top to bottom. You could be the worst player in the O-line, the best. Like, there's an expectation and a standard that we have within this offensive line. Like, we are a top 10 offensive line year in and year out. And you would have to think that last year that was like heartbreaking and demoralizing for everyone in that room and Dan Campbell to see the O-line the way it was. I think, let's talk about the left guard spot. For Dan Campbell to say, hey, this offensive line's going to be way better. The fact that they obviously have Christian Mahogany, who already has started for you, but you went out and got legit dudes that could be starters in this league, and he said it in his press conference today, young guys that are hungry and have had chances, but they need another chance. Ben Barch, Juice Scruggs, Miles Frazier.
Yeah.
Like, you have a legit battle at left guard. Like, a legit battle right now. And there are dudes that have played in this league outside of Miles Frazier. Dudes that have played left guard and started in this league at a high level. So I think that's the positive. I think that's why Dan looks at it and goes, okay, like, I love where we're at, and we're going to be way better. Because last year, that left guard spot and that center spot were so bad. And that left tackle spot with Taylor Decker was so up and down. Now you at least have consistency, hopefully, at both tackle spots. Tate's going to get better. Cade's consistent. And then that left guard spot, man, you have a battle with 3 or 4 dudes that are going to go in there, and hopefully whoever wins that job, they had to do a lot to win that job.
Yeah.
You know that. And they had a battle for that job. So I'm excited to see this offensive line. He did say, he was like, we'll know. He didn't say right away, but he said within a couple days we're going to know what type of offensive line this
and the
is.
fact he's saying that this early is more than encouraging, because you knew the deficiencies that offensive line had last year. So I'm very encouraged. And, I mean, the biggest thing, and I think, Jeff, you was on the money, because I've kind of been saying the same thing, don't expect immediate results, because the biggest problem with the Lions offensive line to start the year last year was the communication. It was the fact that, they were missing on protections, and they just seemed confused, but you had a lot of youth on that line, so it was to be expected. And then the wear and tear kind of took hold and injuries started to take place, and that's kind of where you fell off at the end of the year. But this year, with everyone healthy, you got a lot of young guys battling for positions. Everybody's making everybody better. I do think we'll see a quicker turnaround kind of what we'd hoped for the Lions offensive line last year. I think we will see that turnaround fairly quickly, but you are going to have to give them some time to just get in the rhythm of things. But I think they're going to be okay. I do.
Let's take a break. We come back. We'll get to mailbag. Drop those mailbag questions to end the show. Caleb, what do we got?
KG, tell us about Amnesia.
I will tell the people about Amnesia and their newest product, the Switch. It's a 2-gram dual-chamber disposable, and it features liquid diamonds. Diamonds are forever. Y'all know that. But with 2 chambers and 2 different flavor profiles, you can enjoy the left, you can enjoy the right, or let's bring them together and enjoy both at the same damn time. But discover your new favorite with the Switch by Amnesia. You get them at all dispensaries.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
It's game on at Art & Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art & Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
This is a hungry bear. This is Carl and Jeff. Carl isn't worried because he has focused energy to spare thanks to Thrive energy pouches. Jeff didn't use Thrive when Carl offered. The bear is happy about that. Don't just survive. Thrive.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
If you're looking to take your relaxation to the next level, then Massage Hair House in Bloomfield Hills is the place to be. They feature top brands like Infinity and Osaki. They are your destination for premium comfort and cutting-edge wellness technology. Experience the difference with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, and creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at the Wellness Doc. Book your visit today at massagechairhouse.com or simply scan the QR code on your screen. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
And let me tell the people about Gold Crown and in particular the Royal Jesters. Not the juniors. The juniors are great too, but these are the big ones. 1.5 grams each, and they are quad infused, keef coated, live resin infused, THCA diamonds and terpenes all packed into one big joint. That's 4 layers of you're gonna be feeling good after you hit this. But Michigan made, top tier, no shortcuts. Next time you hit the dispo, don't think just ask for the Royal Jesters, because if you're gonna smoke, you should be smoking like royalty.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. Let's get to mailbag here. The first question I see, Benjamin mailbag, Gibbs Duran celebrity death match for a contract.
Wow.
Jesus.
Come on.
I think we know who would win, but
I don't know. Gibbs been training MMA.
That's
Maybe,
true.
I don't know. Duran,
That's
maybe he
true.
ain't ready for that. For a contract, I think based on Duran potentially taking the QO, he'd be fighting for his life.
Yeah.
He ain't taking that QO. He wants that
No
bag.
way, bro. I can't believe I heard that report.
So, yeah, no, I don't. Mike Gmail sack asked Juicy, you only can pick one, Fish or Adam? Okay, we do this
he
every
keeps
single
putting you in some tough spots.
I'll take Adam. I love Fish. But
Wow, you just switched on Fish like that.
Yeah,
man.
Adam's
Heel
like
turn.
Adam's that's just how it goes. You know, I
Damn,
owe it to
man.
Adam, man. So shout
Just
out to him.
released
Poor
him.
Fish, man. Fish is
DFA
out by
Fish.
himself.
You know how
yeah.
I feel about Fish, but Adam's the one.
DFA Fish, bro. Damn.
Yeah, gotta stay loyal to my guy there. But all right, Mike G mail sack. If we can't sign Gibbs and have to trade him to the Rams, what do we want in return?
Man.
The Rams.
Brad do got the plug.
I mean, the Rams are the Rams are just collecting Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
they're really just Myles Garrett, Vita Vea. Let's get Jahmyr Gibbs too.
Right, Aaron Donald ramping up workout. Like, come on, dog.
By the way, Aaron Donald's coming back. So
Yeah, he is.
Get
And
used to it.
I'm mad
Oh, he'll
about
be
it.
back
I'm
as soon as
mad.
training camp's over. They're like, oh, he's back. Or like a week left. Last
He's coming
preseason
back.
game.
Oh, man.
Get comfortable, guys. He's
Hate.
he's gonna be there. Austin says mailbag. Who signs first, Gibbs or Robinson?
Robinson.
Gibbs.
Whoa.
I think Gibbs. Because it's in Brad's track record.
Yeah,
He's
but
going to get the
like,
deal done.
At the end of the day, again, Robinson's all they have. They need to get that deal
I'm
done.
gonna go
And he's out at
Robinson too. I
practice.
think there's more desperation on their side. Because you're right, KG. I just think the Falcons will be more desperate. They'll probably just be like,
And y'all could be
Let's just
right
get
on
this
that.
done.
Yeah.
Freddie, mailbag. I'll be boots on the ground in Indy for Lions Colts preseason, looking to get seats down by the field.
Come
Freddie.
on now.
Shout out Freddie.
Shout out Freddie, man.
Hey,
he's always boots on the ground.
He is.
Hey,
yeah.
he's the king of Indy, bro. I'm convinced.
He
He's
is.
the
Best,
king
dude.
of Indy.
Indy is a great.
You got to
great
check
city,
in with
too.
Freddie every time you go through there.
You motherfucking right.
Got to check in with Freddie. KJ Mailbag. Will Neal admit he was wrong about Javi's impact on the Tigers?
No.
He never will. He never will.
He never will.
Phil asked here. Phil, I don't know what his last name is. He said, "Is the daily 8 p.m. Crunch Time show officially dead?"
Well, so the 8 p.m. is that specific show.
Late, man.
Is dead.
It's a late time.
But the 11 to 1 show here is obviously every day, and then we're going to do other lives on Crunch Time, and that's going to happen as well. So
we're actually, can we say, I mean, what our plan is?
Not yet.
I think we should, because
we haven't ironed
tomorrow.
So
oh shit! Wait.
Go ahead. I mean, if you want to, but I don't think we've ironed it out specifically yet.
I was just saying,
we're going to go live on.
It's not officially. The thought process is Jeff and I to do extra Tuesdays and Thursdays during football season on the Crunch Time YouTube for the people who like. We were talking about. We don't know if people know fully we're back yet, because there's people in our old chat that we don't see in this chat, and we're like, what are those people? Do they not know where we are? So we are going to start doing that.
Yeah.
And we're probably Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think we're going to do one tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah.
Probably around like 4 o'clock. It's going to be earlier in the day. But we're not 8 p.m. was crazy, man. The 8 p.m., those late nights, man. I don't know if unless we have to do it, I don't know if we'll do it again.
It's tough.
That 8 to 10 p.m. slot, man, is something. I did that for like 3 years.
Yeah.
By the way, Brandon Katz is back.
Oh,
I did see that. I wanted to make sure we read it.
That's a dumb take, Jeff. Come on.
Mailbag question. Why are you guys in the Detroit media afraid to point out Brad Holmes' last 2 draft classes were trash, and he slowly let the Lions' offensive line become mediocre?
Big dog. We have
been under a rock?
We have definitely talked about that 2024 class. It's a dub on it.
And the offensive line, they were the bottom 10 in the league last year.
Even if Christian Mahogany works out, it's 1 out of 7 picks that you made that worked out. Like, come on, it's over on the 2024 class.
I can't believe Brandon Katz came out of nowhere and then just stated all these different things that we've talked about.
Yeah, we've already been talking about.
That's a dumb take, Brandon.
He was like frozen in ice.
Right.
He just came out. He was like,
"Hey, Katz, that's a dumb take." I'm just going because he just
Katz, you missed so much, bro. The wildfires in Canada. You missed poop COVID. You missed a lot,
man.
While you've been frozen.
Well, he had all those court cases. You know he's a lawyer, so.
Oh, by the way, too, we have to admit this, or not admit this. Talk about this just real quick. Derek Skubal, he's starting in about 9 minutes, potentially his last start ever in Detroit.
I don't even know why he started today, to be honest with you.
Did you hear his comments again?
No, what did he say?
I guess he made a comment in an interview yesterday, the day before, and they were asking him like, "Why are you starting? Like, do you want to start?" And he goes, "I have something cool to do on Wednesday." He was like, "I have something cool I want to do on Wednesday, which is get the 1,000 Ks today."
Yeah.
So he basically was just like,
"I
just have something really cool that I want to do." It's like, dude.
I don't see a problem with that.
Does he fall?
Yeah, but like if you're getting traded, like, hey, Scott, like if Scott Harris trades him, like Caleb's point yesterday, like probably shouldn't be playing. You just had a 12 strikeout game.
Scubal's in the Kirby bucket for you, where it's like just play ball.
I've said it for a billion weeks
just
now.
play ball.
Just stop talking to the media. Like if you talk to
it's
the media,
hurting
he's
you.
Smart.
But if he's saying that, he finna light it up today, though.
Well, he only needs 1 to get 1,000.
Oh, okay.
So it's just
even
like
still, he gonna go out there and make.
Honestly,
the
I probably will put a bet on him to get like 10 Ks.
Yeah,
again
you
today,
should.
just because it's his last in Detroit potentially. We'll see.
Sad, man. It's sad.
It is. I do love Skubal as much as we've told him like, hey, just relax in the media a little bit. Still love him. It's the same thing with Kirby, by the way.
Guys,
just telling Kirby to stop let off the social media doesn't mean we don't love the guy.
Hold your horses. They're gonna keep him. They're gonna make a run at this thing. Cause come on, this is what we all
talk
want.
to me, KG.
This is all we all want,
talk
man.
to me, KG.
And when they fall 2.5 games short of the wild card.
Teddy said mailbag. So Scubal's going to the Dodgers because they got every star in the league. Well, there's a lot of teams. Jeff Passan. We'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow a lot more. But the stuff that's been coming out.
Once again, the Tigers haven't even made their minds up yet.
No, it's a lot more
By
layered.
the way, dude, you guys want to hear something brutal?
What?
Yesterday, I bet on the Tigers. They had like 40 hits. The only player that didn't have a hit that I took, Riley Green, 0 for 2.
Dingler went 0 for 5.
The only, I was just like, dude, what are the chances?
That's tough.
Everyone goes off, but the one guy
Javi looked.
How did you not bet on Valencia? Come on now.
No, I had him in the bet. It was a parlay. He was in
Eduardo.
it. Valencia. It was literally the parlay was. I'll read it real quick. It was Eduardo Valencia, hit, runner, RBI. Riley Green 2 total bases. McGonigal 2 hits, runs, and RBIs, and Glaber 1. Everything hit but Riley Green.
Glaber went nuts yesterday. Yeah.
Well, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m., so be there. Come hang out with us. Hit the like button on the way out. You can check out Braylon Hanson 2 to 4, heavyweights 5 to 7. Until then, Jeff, Booner, KG, Caleb.
Love you guys. Peace.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.